Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Julie, and welcome back if you are a subscriber or maybe you've just seen me on YouTube. And if you're new, welcome. I thought this would be a cool video to do live. I didn't feel like I had it in me to make a video, but I thought going live would be really cool. A cool way to do this. I thought I would do it the same as the last time as I did a live video, which was to have kind of like a Q&A that people could ask questions, if they wanted to, and I'd try to answer. Not all the questions that I was asked last time I could answer, but I think it'd be like a nice format for people to, I don't know, just ask their questions and also just chat. It's like getting this time of year around Christmas where a lot of emotions come out, and it's nice just to hang out on a live and just feel like you're being seen. Sometimes you don't mind, nobody might show up. Which then you might be watching this on a replay, which is totally cool too. And please feel free to ask a question, and I'll try to answer either in the comments or maybe I'll do another video. I like to create content. So welcome. I was in the multi-level marketing industry for 5 years, and I was part of Mon8 and a network marketing coaching group on Facebook called Rank Makers. So I was part of both of those groups for 5 years simultaneously. That's my cat meowing. I don't know what she wants to say. Sienna, come on up. She just had a big poop. No, come on. Did you want to come sit on my lap? Come on. She's not happy because it's like minus 30 degrees out here right now. And she just wants to go outside. Sienna, come on. Well, I don't know. She's just going to be meowing. So what I thought is to have some kind of structure or format that I could talk, especially if there's like nobody that comes on. And then at least there's like content, right? And then as there's questions or commentary, then I'll read it out loud. And so I thought it'd be nice to kind of talk about a lot of these red flag phrases and words that are used in the multi-level marketing industry and also the coaching industry. And I want to say that they're red flag words because I think it's good to warn people that they might sound really good, but they're used to control you and they're used to shut down your critical thinking. So the first one is money mindset. This thing, man, if you see this, just run. This is used throughout the multi-level marketing industry. And it's weird because it's like this assumption that there is a specific mindset that is just about money. And this goes way back in time, like for manifestation. You create your own reality. If you believe, you will, and if you change your frequency, you will attract wealth and abundance to you. It's going to be just so easy. And so this money mindset thing is used to sell you additional courses. It's like, there's a reason why that you're struggling with money, and I'm going to help you unlock these blocks that are preventing this mindset that exists in some part of your brain that will then open the doors to abundance. Money mindset goes hand in hand with scarcity and abundance. So you can see that sometimes these concepts can be attractive and there may be some truth to some of them, not money mindset, but like the idea of scarcity and abundance, but it's always used to control you, that there's something wrong with you, that the people that have gone before you, that the people that are your uplines that are more successful than you or coaches, they know better than you. So you need to listen to them. So the first one, so it's that money mindset. Money mindset means like if you have a lack of money or you're just not making enough, there's something wrong with your mindset. If you improve your mindset, it's going to change. It has nothing to do with anything else, not privilege, not any kind of like where you live in the world. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It just has to do with your mindset, right? Lisa says, hi, Julie. It's just at freezing here, Seattle, and we're expecting snow this afternoon. Oh, good. So it's kind of nice. Welcome, Lisa. Hello. It's really cold here. It's so nasty. It's too cold. I should have plugged my car in because it's probably not going to start. Getting closer to Christmas if you celebrate. So this money mindset thing, a lot of it is you create your reality. So there's this there's an allure and an appeal to accepting responsibility for your life that you can. And I think I don't want to speak for you. I don't want to speak for anybody. I'll speak for myself. For me, it's an appealing thing of taking responsibility for what I do, for my choices, because then I can rectify those, I can correct them. However, taking responsibility for things that aren't like under your control or for something that has been done to you is not okay. So with this whole thing about money mindset is that there's other factors at play that affect your bank account. Of course, we all know this, but when you're in the multi-level marketing industry, it's like, no, the only thing that is keeping you back is your mindset, not the flawed business model, not anything. And inevitably, it requires you attending some kind of course or paying for a course, listening, writing mantras or repeating mantras, writing affirmations. So one of these, there's so many courses out there that are going to address your money mindset. And I want to just give you validation too, that if you're ever listening to somebody, like I subscribed to somebody yesterday and then I immediately unsubscribed because they had been talking about like cults, but then they went and they did some interview with somebody that was talking about this money mindset and that the abundance was going to flow in. I'm like, fuck no. I've seen that red flag. I do not need to see it again. So when you get out of these high control groups, it's really important to start paying attention to your body, your instincts, and make decisions based on you and not kind of, it's easy to fall into the trap. Even if what I'm saying now, you're like, no, then please listen to your instincts, you know? It's important to start listening to ourselves again instead of maybe looking at the comments, social proof. Everybody else seems to like it. Maybe there's something wrong with me. No, there's a reason why that you're finding it. You don't like it. So that's been something I've been like really paying attention to since I've left more and more, is to start listening to my instincts and be like, no, I don't have to subscribe to this person. It's like, doesn't mean I think they're bad or anything, but I do not want to go in that fucking direction again. And it's bullshit. You know, there's nothing that you need to unlock in your mind and then abundance just flows in. That's bullshit. It's used to control you. Nicole from Breaking Even Communications here is, it is so convenient to be able to blame mindset when something doesn't work. Yes. If you are looking for a really good creator to follow, Breaking Even Communications has some really great content. And she interviewed me, Nicole. And it was nice to do this interview with Nicole because I was talking about, and it was her idea. She's very smart about like the marketing information. Like I'm really struggling with my words today. I don't know why. Probably I need more coffee. Just what I learned about marketing in the MLM industry, and then like comparing notes and like what happens in the real world. And I found it really healing and exciting. I was still like kind of hammering on about like, well, this is wrong and this is wrong. I'm getting closer to the place where I can just speak about my experiences instead of like proselytizing why it's so fucking bad. Right? We're all the work in progress. Run the World says hi there. Run the World says agreed. She's great quality content. Thank you for being on here. Welcome. And Nicole says, yep, are so sweet. So sweet. And Run the World is here too. Woo! Woo, woo. So the money mindset, that's the first one. The second, so this kind of rolls into it, is this whole talk about scarcity and abundance. So scarcity and abundance in the multi-level marketing industry and the multi-level marketing coaching industry, it's meant to shut down your critical thinking. It is a thought-stopping cliche. You could just say scarcity and abundance and people will fall into line. We know what's expected of us. We know what we're supposed to think and do. Because anything that is wrong, if you've like attracted somebody to you, which means like maybe you send out a cold message to them, but it's like, this is how it's framed. That's really negative. You've brought that on yourself. You need to work on your mindset. If you have lack, if you have, say you got fired, say somebody's cut your hours, say being fired, that's an extreme example. Like say you just got sick and you couldn't go to work and you just have less hours that week for whatever, or, you know, you've had a big expense. It's really cold and your furnace went out. That's what happened with us. And it's a huge expense. So in the multi-level marketing industry, you're not allowed to like just live your life and complain about, you know, normal stuff, which is just like, oh, I can't believe it. It's like $5,000 to replace my furnace. It's like, there's abundance out there. It's like, they'll really like to use Wayne Dyer as well. Money is like the ocean. You can just walk down there at any time with a bucket and scoop out as much as you want. How you're supposed to do this, it's in your mind. There's not any specific steps, but the people that have a lot say that it's so easy to do this. But there's something wrong with you if you just can't go down to the beach and just like scoop out all this money. Scarcity is being in fear or complaining or about being rooted in reality, which is just commenting on like, oh, my furnace has blown. It's $5,000. It really sucks. It's normal to have these conversations, but in the multi-level marketing industry, it's not. You're constantly editing and censoring yourself. Run the World says, "Oh, thanks for the shout out." And Run the World says, "You can pivot, Julie. Think Luke, an entrepreneur." So again, about like scarcity and abundance, I wrote this on my phone. I got my notes, use it somewhat as a format. Everybody can win. The network marketing industry is a level playing field. It has nothing to do with how old you are, what your gender is, anything. It's a level playing field for all. The only thing that is going to dictate your success is your mindset and how hard you work. That's how they sell it. So with this scarcity and abundance, people that are fearful, or they start critically thinking, pointing out things like, well, this is a contradiction that you said, or I've worked so hard. I've bought all these courses. I've done all these live videos. I'm sending out all these prospecting messages. How come I'm not getting this? You're like, you're living in scarcity. There is abundance for all. There's no conversation. It's like scarcity and abundance, end of conversation. Gwen is here. Hello, Gwen. Thank you for dropping the unicorn and the broccoli. And Run the World says, like, not Luke. I was thinking, I immediately went to Star Wars. I'm like, oh, it's like a reference to Star Wars. It works. Nicole says, Wayne Dyer died of cancer in his 60s. It's like, if he had this abundant mindset, couldn't he have cured himself? Did he have limiting beliefs? Like, of course not. Exactly. Oh man, limiting beliefs is another one. I didn't even write that on there, but that's a huge one, especially with the coaching group I was part of, Rank Makers and Inner Circle Coaching. They hammered limiting beliefs like all the time. You're always self-sabotaging yourself, and you always have limiting beliefs. So it can sound attractive, like when you get in to a multi-level marketing company and you really love the products. The products can be really good. A lot of them can be shit, but a lot of them can be really good. And I want to keep saying that, because one of the first things that I would always like kind of push criticism away would be like, yeah, but my company has products and I really like the products. And a lot of my customers like the products. So if there'd be criticism saying, well, the products are really expensive, which is true. The products can be shit. That's true. It's just like, it's when you have somebody that is like, the products can be really good. It's kind of like, holy shit, I might listen, so that's my approach. Some of the other things I'm like, fuck no, but I'll talk about the products as being good. I used to purchase other products from different multi-level marketing companies. The makeup that Lip Sense or Senegence or whatever, I purchased their makeup when I was still purchasing Monat. And I also, for a time, purchased Rodan and Fields. And I really enjoyed their products, for a time. So I think it's important to say that to people, because it's like your company can have good products. You can enjoy the products. People can be benefiting from the products. So when you get in, you think, okay, I want to do this the right way. If you could be gone to a number of companies called like an MLM hopper, which is called a cult hopper, because multi-level marketing companies are commercial cults and they're all fucking pyramid schemes. So there's my fucking hammer dropping down. It's like, yeah, your products can be great, but you're in a fucking cult and a pyramid scheme. You're like, you've got limiting beliefs. There's something that's holding you back. You're scared to do a live video. You're scared to even talk about your products. How are you going to sell any if you have this limiting belief that's holding you back? You need to step out of your comfort zone, because only change and growth happens outside your comfort zone. All these things sound really good, but it's all not true. It's all like partial truths. So this idea of having these limiting beliefs that are holding you back, where do these limiting beliefs are only structured in the way that you need to keep selling products, keep trying to sell products, keep going to your company's events, and for heaven's sakes, keep purchasing your network marketing coaching company. It's always about giving money out Staying within, shut down any kind of doubts. Those are limiting beliefs. There are beliefs that you have deep inside you, which often relate to childhood trauma. That's where they'll go with this too. And you need to keep taking action, and you need to keep ignoring that feeling in the pit of your stomach that is saying, don't do this. And that's your instincts. And you need to, so these limiting beliefs, along with comfort zone, they're framed in this way that this is the way out, that you need to conquer yourself. And all you're doing is you're squashing yourself. And this is how this is like, I think how like that cult identity starts to form. I want to be careful with the language that I'm using as I'm learning it, like thought stopping, cliches, cult identity, cult phobia. I've read a few books. I am not an expert. I'm trying to piece things together in my experience. And I know it's helpful to share my experience because it helped me hearing people's stories. So I just want to say that too. Please go find your own, the books, the articles, and make your own decisions. These are my opinions. These are based on my experiences. So limiting beliefs, I think looking back, it's like your instincts are telling you, I don't want to prospect 200 people a day. It's fucking gross. It's wrong. This script is shit. It's just like intrusive. It's annoying people, and it's not working. The same people that have been within network marketing for like pushing 20 years or more now, they seem to be at the top of every new multi-level marketing company that goes. You start piecing these things together. Don't think, don't question, don't point that out. Those are your limiting beliefs. You need to conquer those limiting beliefs. Then those beliefs, you're going to have it so deep inside you, your mindset is going to improve. You will, just going to, all of a sudden, everything changed. That's a story they'll say. I used to have these limiting beliefs. I've worked so hard to get through my limiting beliefs that now I am at the top of my MLM compensation plan. Lisa says, all I have to do is express gratitude to the universe for providing my replacement furnace and it will appear. And if it doesn't, it's my fault for not having the right mindset. Exactly. Well, that was beautiful, Lisa. Gwen says, mindset doesn't change the fact that MLM products are often so expensive that people can't afford them. Costs are set the same way coaches price services. Is it about money or helping people? It's definitely about making money for the top. Jana says, hey, y'all. And Jay says, y'all, please like the stream. Thank you, Jana. Jana, you know what you're doing on YouTube and then being on live videos. Thank you for being encouraging and being on this live stream. The products in a multi-level marketing company are not the products. The products are the people. When I was within Rank Makers and Inner Circle Coaching, I had 2 coaches during my time with Inner Circle Coaching because I was in there for about a year. And I was asked, it's like the whole, you're like, do you want to grow your business? I'm like, yes. Then you need to lead with the business opportunity. Stop trying to sell products. If you want to grow your business, you need to talk about the business opportunity. When any MLM, which is every single MLM, requires you to recruit people to sell, the products are the people. The products aren't the products. I mean, you're selling the product. I'm hoping that this might land with someone, maybe just like start that little crack, When it's always about recruiting, it's always about attracting more people to you through your mindset, conquer your limiting beliefs. The product isn't the product that you're selling. You're in a pyramid scheme. That is the definition of a pyramid scheme. And you can say, well, the FTC doesn't even have a solid version of a pyramid scheme. They don't, but they sure do crack down on companies that have sold products like Advocare, which was around for like 25 years. They were around for 25 years. So any multi-level marketing company that is like, well, we've been around for so long. We sell products. Well, so did Advocare, and they were found to be a pyramid scheme. It doesn't matter. It's just when you get cracked down, right? Which hopefully all of them would get cracked down soon enough. Jana says, y'all, please make sure you are on live chat and not on top chat so you can see all the messages. It's the 3 bars by the X. Thank you, Gina. This is so cool. It's like you're teaching everybody how to do this. Me as well. So that's about like a little bit about the limiting beliefs. And if you have anything to add or just want to say anything, please feel free to just say it in the chat or ask a question. I'll try to answer. The next one I have written down here is all in. This was written by a friend of mine. She was in Claire. She has commented on a number of my videos. She was in Rank Makers and she was also in Inner Circle coaching with me for a time. She left first. I remember she disappeared off social media and I was like, where did she go? I was always curious. I'm like, what happened? And then when I started to make anti-MLM content, like she came back, she contacted me. It was on TikTok. I'm like, oh, like I get it now. But she had written on I think it was on a short TikTok that I just uploaded to YouTube Shorts. And it was about the phrase being all in. We said this all the time. And you'd hear leaders talk about this. They're like, I went from company to company. And then it was only when I decided to go all in. Like, what the fuck does that mean? It's just this is what I really think all these things are. It's that the percentages of the people that are at the top that get these ranks, they never change. It's always less than 1% that are at the top. And the people that get up there, they really feel like they're that they're owed, that they're entitled, that they're special. And I think the whole system, the way these organizations, these companies are structured, that it fucking breeds that. Like that entitlement. It's like you are special. And I think it has to be that way. I think that's the only way these things work, because it just it requires everybody to believe that there's something wrong with their mindset and that these few people at the top are really special. And they can, they'll say the same thing. I worked really hard. They'll say, I went all in. So what does all in mean? Going to events. It always means spending more money and sticking with the company no matter what and not questioning things. Certainly not talking to anybody who's left the company, not those troublemakers. Run the World says, hi, Janet. And Jana says, I think it's funny that the FTC calls all MLMs pyramid schemes. I do too. I think, I don't know I'm very new to speaking out. I know this has been going on a long, long time. And I know there's, political things, the way that you can and can't say things for legal reasons. And the multi-level marketing industry they'll say, even the FTC says there are legitimate MLMs. But like Robert Fitzpatrick points out, they never give you an example or a name of a legitimate MLM. It's almost like they have to leave it in there that there is the existence of these MLMs. And Robert Fitzpatrick will say like, there are, and it's a unicorn, because it's like unicorns don't exist. So I don't know how that's going to evolve. Like with the FTC, they call it up, but the multi-level marketing industry keeps saying that, well, they even say there's legitimate ones. So every company, of course, scrambles to say that their company is legitimate. I found this article. I'm going to like deviate here for a moment. I want to do a video on this, but I was like, should I do a live stream or should I do a video? And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do a live. I don't want to do a video. I don't have the energy. But I thought, fuck, I'm going to show you this. So this is on social selling. It was like social selling news. I thought it was I'll find the actual article here. It was written on April the 1st, 2020, which I thought it was a joke, but they are a fucking joke, And it was, where's the name of this article? It was April 1st last year, April 1st, 2021. The troubling rise of the anti-influencer. I'll find the exact website for you here. It's called Social Selling News. Oh no, Selling News. Is it Selling News? This is what it looks like anyway. The troubling rise of the anti-influencer, which is funny because even the way they phrase that is that you're not an influencer if you're outside of network marketing. You're anti-influencer, which makes no fucking sense, but nothing makes sense within the multi-level marketing industry. So they're in this article, it was April the 1st. I thought it was an April Fool's joke, but I'm like, they've put way too much time and energy in this for this to be a joke. This is serious. And that it's like this really weird businessy version of multi-level marketing where they're all like, the troubling rise of the anti-influencer. You're going to see there's the head of the direct selling association or something. I'll find the quote where he says, there must be something there. If not, there hasn't been a universal positive experience of multi-level marketing. It's like, no shit. Like, do these people really believe? That's what I don't know. I'm like, how deep does this fucking brainwashing go? Are they all grifters? They know, and they just like keep saying the same thing. That's what I really struggle with. So this is anti-MLM groups are gaining traction on social media, threatening a reputation revitalization for the channel. They say in this article that Gen Z is really calling them out. They're having trouble with Gen Z, which is like, way to go, Gen Z. It's awesome because you're the biggest target. They're going after you. So it says, the anti-MLM movement is gaining ground. It is uncoordinated and without leadership. So they say that as if it's a bad thing. Well, the anti-MLM movement, people that have left multi-level marketing companies, you've left a commercial cult. So I know when I left my multi-level marketing company, and then other people on my team did, I'm like, you can't look to me for advice because it's going to be replicating the exact same fucking dynamic we were in. It's important to turn within. So because it's just like, oh, it's not like anti-business, you've left a fucking cult. We've all left different cults. Therefore, leadership or lack of coordination is going to take on a very different look than what it would traditionally look. So I think you should absolutely, if you're watching this and you're in the multi-level marketing industry and you think it's the greatest thing, I think that you should definitely continue to believe that the anti-MLM movement is uncoordinated and completely without leadership. Please continue to think that. And so they're talking about analyzing anti-influencer communities on social media. This is important because I found in this article something that's so schmoogly and gross. They said they're analyzing and growing they fucking infiltrated deceptively anti-MLM Facebook groups and did research on there. And they fucking say it in this article and they think that that's okay. The cornerstone of the multi-level marketing industry is deception. Even in their research, they can't fucking get it right. They have to join under false pretenses a fucking anti-MLM, which is people are recovering from being in cults, being abused, being exploited. And yet, fucking this article, they're quite happy about saying, well, we've analyzed the results. Really? So not only have these people been exploited while they were in the fucking multi-level industry, now you're also like infringing on their their privacy, their fucking healing. Like, it's so fucking gross. I know I'm like going off on a tangent here. I hope this is okay. Avery Joe says anti-influencer. Yeah, that's what they call anybody. The social selling industry, according to this particular article anyway, you're an anti-influencer because everybody in multi-level marketing is an influencer. They're so fucking stupid. Like, it's so brutal how this continues to perpetuate. But I really think, I know they've had to respond doing an article like this. So this is April the 1st last year. It's only gotten more and more as more and more people start speaking out. It doesn't matter who you are. And influence has nothing to do with being against the multi-level marketing industry, as we all know. Okay, so this is what else I wanted to... we certainly have a responsibility to listen to and evaluate the concerns and often the criticisms expressed by adversaries. Their language is always warlike to and antagonistic because it's a cult. You're either with us or against us. I have all these ideas that I want to make this video, and it's probably going to be this fucking mishmash in this one, so I apologize. But I wanted to... I don't know if you've heard of a Manhattan sex cult story. It was written by Spencer Schneider. And he wrote down a number of things that they were taught to go out and to recruit people to this cult. And it wasn't a multi-level marketing company. It was a cult, right? And they're the exact same things that we're taught in multi-level marketing. And if you look at Amway, what's going on, I mean, it is with every multi-level marketing company. But Amway is a really good, like, kind of synonym for what was going on with this Manhattan cult, where they're taught, like, they go out and they just hang out at a store and they're waiting to look for someone who's their target. And then they all say the same script. They feel you out and they say, I'd like you to introduce, maybe, I don't know, but I have these, these mentors. I'm this young couple they've just retired in their 20s or their 30s. And they might mentor you. If I put a good word in for them, would you be open to doing that? This is what they did. This is what they do in every cult. But under the frame of like building your business, it seems to be okay. But that they're behaving exactly the same way as being in a cult. Maybe you already know this, but as I'm healing, I'm like, holy fuck, this is the same thing. Jana says, I hate Monate and them calling the market partner affiliate program as an affiliate program is bananas. It is. It's not an affiliate program. I'm like, no, it's a uni-level marketing because you have to still buy a starter kit. An affiliate, you don't have to buy into the business to be an affiliate. Pay to play, right? You don't have to pay to play, but in multi-level marketing, you do. They keep like, is I'm using the word right, co-opting when they take over another word to just make it sound better. They can never fucking describe themselves as they are. Like even Modere, we're not multi-level marketing. We're like what? Social sharing, social selling. We're an affiliate. They can never describe themselves. It's like slime, like trying to grab it. It keeps like slipping out of your hands. You can never get a firm grip on it because they can never just say what they are. Because if they did, they'd be admitting that they're a scam. I'm so sorry, Jana says, you don't have to buy into the business to be an affiliate. The reason it's uni-level marketing is because there's no downline, but you still have to buy a starter kit. Avery Joe says, I hate Monate because there's real influencers in the curly hair community promoting it, even though it makes people's hair fall out and most likely isn't curly hair friendly. Jana says, there's a long laundry list of why I hate Monate, but I just got done watching this second day of Tishmas. And Run the World's like, we are different. Jana's like, exactly, snakes. Monate's products, when people have negative effects from them and their hair is falling out and they're, we were taught, oh, it's detox. Oh, you're not using the products properly. It's so fucking wrong. Like it's so bad. I hate Monate because I was with them for 5 years. There's my addition to that. Monate sucks. And it was so weird. I don't know if I said this on another video, but even one of my VIP customers, she had a really hard time stopping to use Monate because we both kind of like were waking up at the same time. I was a market partner. So she's a customer. She's not even a market partner. But when you're in one of these commercial cults, you're fucking tainted. You are in. Whether I'm just purchasing to help a friend, you're fucking participating in a commercial cult, whether you want to admit it or not. Like same as those people that purchased 5-day courses from Nexium. You didn't get all the way into it. You might have not done anything else, but you were still participating in a fucking cult, I like to put that out there because maybe that might kind of plant a seed in somebody's heads, in their head too. Anyway, I fucking went on. I lost my train of thought. Oh, sorry. Okay. Gwen says, exactly. I'm an affiliate, no downline and no starter kit needed. Avery Joe says, detox doesn't exist. Clarifying exists. Jana says, definitely, Gwen. You don't have to pay to be an affiliate. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was going off about something about Monate. Curly hair, influencers. It's gone. Okay. I should have kept to my format. This is what happens. You go off script, right? I don't want to be on script though. Lisa says, if a stranger invites you to meet for coffee with him or her and a successful couple, that's a big red flag that it's Amway. Absolutely. There's so many stories out there now, especially on anti-MLM Reddit, giving you like the exact scenarios that have happened. I took screenshots of that too, because I'm like, oh, I want to do this video. For however many times I'm talking about doing this video, I probably should have just done this video. So they say in this article that, this is the anti-influencer one, that especially Gen Z has industry leaders and executives worried. Way to go, Gen Z. Critical thinking. Yeah, that's so good. Okay, where I want to, this grassroots crusade, this is about the anti-MLM movement. They say it's now an entrenched cultural phenomenon, attracting hundreds of thousands of followers across the various social media platforms. It's so funny because they're quite aware of what's going on, and yet they're so unaware of why it's going on. They say this grassroots crusade against direct sellers has weaponized MLM as a catch-all buzzword to tag every social selling company, regardless of structure. That's because every MLM is a pyramid scheme. as an anathema, to be ridiculed, avoided. Yes, that's true. Okay. Okay, this is the dude, Joe Mariano, president of the Direct Selling Association. This is the quote I wanted to read you. So Joe Mariano, president of the DSA, says there is an increasing awareness of this problem at direct sales companies. I'll just read this and I'll add my 2 cents. There is a growing recognition and realization amongst very senior level executives that we can't bury our heads in the sand and ignore what's really driving the resonance of some of this. Mariano says, you may have a social media something or a group, and they may be selling t-shirts or whatever they're doing in order to get, or a social media critic or a group, and they may be selling t-shirts or whatever it is they're doing in order to get clicks and revenue from that site. But that would not resonate if people's experiences with direct selling had been universally positive. And so that is one of the things we have to deal with. So let's talk about Joe Mariano's assessment of the situation, president of the DSA. It's so it's interesting where this complete, I like it because they're going to go down. I think what's going to happen is just the same way that multi-level marketing companies are mathematically flawed. You run out of people on the planet, where all you have to do is recruit 3 people, and those 3 people recruit 3 people. All you have to do is this. All you have to do is get 20 underneath you, and you're going to qualify for the Mercedes or whatever. There's a lot. There's only so many people on this planet, and everybody's been burned by multi-level marketing or has had family and friends burned. There's the vast majority have been burned because that's the business structure. And I think that's like, this is going to be their demise. I think it has to be, you can only like or I don't know if I'm using the word leverage, but you can only use this whole mindset and gaslighting and spiritual manipulation so much, but we're so connected now, and everybody's having more, everybody that has had an experience. There's like, in the past, you couldn't just get on YouTube. You couldn't just get on fucking Facebook and share your story. Like, you would get shut down. These people would come after you. Now it's the pendulum is swung. So where he says you may have a social media critic or a group, and they may be selling t-shirts or whatever it is they're doing in order to get clicks and revenue from that site. So Mariano, anybody that is selling merch, you're not getting clicks from the selling merch. Nobody's going to your fucking site. It doesn't matter what social media platform you're on. I can confidently say that nobody, or maybe there's the percentage similar to those that succeed in network marketing, which is a minuscule percentage, that are actually going to your site. That's why they're like, oh, I can buy a t-shirt. That's why you're getting clicks. It's the opposite, dude. It's the fucking opposite. They're already there. So they want to support the creator by purchasing. So selling merch isn't a way to get clicks. They're already getting clicks based on the merit of their content and maybe their personality, whatever it is, whatever value that they are providing their audience. But I think that he likes to insert that in there as a criticism of people benefiting from criticizing. For me, I don't make fuck all. This is I don't monetize my content. That's my own decision. And I completely support anybody who does choose to monetize their content. Good for you. For me, I have my own reasons. Part of it is to be like, no, I'm doing this on my own fucking spare time and as a hobby. If for no other reason than just that. That's my take. But I think that's what his angle that he's going at. And then this whole where he talks about that would not resonate if people's experiences with direct selling had been universally positive. It's not universally positive. Okay, catch up on the comments here. Jana says, sorry, Julie. And then Avery Joe says, grassroots crusade. It's funny how they try to diminish the criticism from outside the multi-level marketing industry, or the anti-MLM movement, as they'd like to say. Gwen says, affiliate is digital marketing, much better for building your own work without following one-size-fits-all teaching. Okay. They also talked to a chairman of DSA and president, CEO-elect of New Skin. Oh, I had a run-in with a New Skin rep, and I thought she was my friend. This was on, and I hope that you're out. if you're happening like to watch this piece of content, but she had been part of my TikTok for Beginners Facebook group. And I thought that she wanted help growing her TikTok. I thought, oh, this is so cool. She's really like getting into creating TikToks. And she had been like, I would go live quite frequently in that group. This was like during the pandemic, you know, or like trying to like do things to keep my mind busy. And I get on this like a Zoom call with her, and she just starts asking me all these questions. She starts telling me her story, her why. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, you're fucking pitching me? And then she asked me a question about my family. So tell me about you. Are you married? You have whatever? And I'm like, that is none of your business. And I just was so disappointed. I'm like, this was all a setup to be a pitch. And she was like, you know, apparently quite up there. It was like the whole point of this was to get me to spend, I don't know how many tens of thousands of dollars on some fucking machine that probably tells you that you need to buy products from Nu Skin. Imagine that. Anyway, this guy, Ryan Napierski, CEO-elect of Nu Skin, asserts that the best strategy for meeting industry criticism is to keep the focus on customers. There's a problem with that, Ryan Napierski, chairman, CEO-elect of Nu Skin. Ryan, the problem is that your customers are your distributors, and that's why you're in a fucking pyramid scheme. So your customers are irrelevant, Ryan. You know this. Jana says he's trying to just throw shit on the wall and hope something sticks. What a douche canoe. Run the World says that's disgraceful. Avery Joe says that's gross. Lift Panic. Hi, Julie. I was literally watching the replay of your previous live when I saw this. Thank you. I'd responded to a comment that you had left on that live, and I was like, thank you for watching. And so I hope you enjoy this one. And Jana says, wow, that sucks. I'm sorry. That's so gross. Okay, then he has just finished saying that the best way to meet criticism is for us to focus on address the needs of our customers. The customers are your distributors, though. So it would be great if you could, what they'll do is deflect, because that's what they always do, because cult behavior is predictable. The more and more people that start to see this and recognize this, that leave, and they start to piece together what's happened to them, know that they're not alone, know that it's safe to speak out. This is all going to crumble. It has to. I mean, this is like the downward. As we remain committed to operating with integrity. Did you remain operating with integrity when you infiltrated private anti-MLM Facebook groups to conduct research, Direct Selling Association? Because you say it in the next bit of this article, which I'm going to quote. Is that being committed to operating with integrity and holding ourselves and others within our industry accountable to high standards of conduct? And how do you hold yourselves accountable to high standards of conduct when the Truth in Advertising organization, I think they even went right against you, Nu Skin, and you didn't do anything about it to rectify anything. But the DSA created another group. I did a video on this. I should have looked at it before I came on this, but it's here on YouTube. It's like one of those short ones. It was I don't know if it's a YouTube short. It's not a YouTube short because it's like 3 minutes. But it's about the Direct Selling Association. They formulated this other committee, this other body to self-regulate. And it shows why the self-regulation didn't work. It's ineffective. Big surprise, right? But they just create these committees and they have more acronyms. And it's like, this is the DSSSA and this is the DSRA and this is the DSA. It sounds really good. And they like to use words like resonance and universally positive, and, you know, to speak to people to try to diminish their experiences and use lots of syllables and just, you know, the whole mind fuckery of it all. And they hope, well, maybe it'll just go away. It's not going away. The grassroots are on fucking fire. It's a wildfire now. Spike in anti-MLM media coverage. So they're talking about this. This was April the 1st. I wonder what they're talking about now. So they talk about that. This is the other thing too. It says, I'll just read this to you. The intensity of the anti-MLM movement's voice reached a crescendo of sorts at the end of 2020. Having gained national coverage in both print and television media by cheering and amplifying news of TikTok's surprise ban on all direct selling content, as reported in last month's SSN. I think that's this social selling news website. Too bad TikTok doesn't uphold that ban, but you know, I know I've reported accounts and other people report accounts, and sometimes they do get shut down and the content gets removed. So they're aware that this is going on. They also talk about the Atlantic ran a follow-up story a month later blaming the pandemic-induced shift to e-commerce for the recent network marketing backlash and rise of the YouTube vigilante. They do talk about, in this article, they're always off, which is really good because you can't be really aware when your head is up your ass, which is what the entire multi-level marketing industry is. So it's like they get pieces of information and they're like, oh, well, it's just a grassroots movement, or oh, well, it's like, oh, well, you're fucked, right? But please continue to think that. If your head was out of your ass, you'd know that you're a grift, that you're conning people out of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. Like, oh, anyway. So they talk about like that YouTube is the hotbed. That YouTube, in their mind, as of this article, that YouTube is like the worst place for anti-MLM content, which I thought, that's quite interesting. It's kind of getting everywhere though now. Facebook, Instagram, and especially TikTok. And they, again, in this article, it says again, it's like they're particularly Gen Z they're worried about, because Gen Z is not getting sucked in. Oh, way to go, Gen Z. Oh, I'm so proud of Gen Z. I'm going to catch up on your comments here. Jana says, okay. Oh, Avery says there is zero integrity in MLMs. Jana says integrity. I hope he didn't choke saying that. I know. Run the World says, was he being authentic too? He was being authentic and filled with integrity. He also was resonating with the statement vigilante. Yeah. Avery Joe says vigilante shit. Jana says behind MLM has a great website full of great articles, and whoever writes that really does thorough research. Oh, thank you for plugging that. Behind MLM, Jana Miller is recommending this, so that's good. Lift Panic says boomer here, but I love those Gen Zers, and you know what? And all generations are welcome. There's all, because there's assholes in every generation, right? So it's like not, but there's like the kind of the generalization of generations. But Lisa says, Julie Wisdom, you can't be aware with your head up your ass. Gwen says, so they're not worried about Gen X currently. They're never worried about Gen X. Avery Joe says, I'm Gen Z. Yeah, right on. Oh, fucking right on. All right. We got all generations. Boomer, Gen X, Gen Z, Millennial. It's all covered. Look out. Look out. The unifying factor. This then talks about recruiting the anti-recruiters. Negative portrayals of network marketing companies by popular media have been around nearly as long as the businesses that they lampoon. So the negative portrayals of network marketing companies happen because of the existence of the network marketing companies. People don't even have to lampoon them. They could just sit there and watch the shit show unfold. Anybody doing a live video, trying to recruit or inspire their team, watch a network marketing coach, start giving their 4 ways to unlock success on Instagram Reels. Anything like that, you can just watch it. The negative portrayal is coming from the companies, from the presidents, the CEOs, from the reps themselves. Tongue-in-cheek send-ups of Tupperware parties, Avon ladies, and door-to-door encyclopedia sales have been a relatively harmless source of public attention for direct sellers for decades. You can see how outdated. It's such this weird, strange mix of being like kind of clued in to reality and also being entrenched in this past where like, I can't even believe this article from last year has brought up door-to-door encyclopedia sales. This will give you an idea of who runs these companies, where that's normal parlance. How's that for you, fucking Joe? Your parlance rhymes with a residence. However, modern interconnected social media platforms have given disgruntled direct sales distributors and customers a massive stage with global reach. It's interesting that they added disgruntled customers. It's like they're gaslighting their customers and they're also gaslighting their direct sales distributors. There is no legitimate complaint against a multi-level marketing company. All of it is disgruntled, all because it is sanctioned by God. It's the way out. It is the way to prosperity, time and money freedom, elevated mindset. If you have any criticism of it, you're an anti-influencer. Jane is like, way to go, Gen Zers. Avery Joe says encyclopedia sales were a real thing. Yes. Okay. I'll talk about that. Jana says it's so good watching Tony have to climb off her pyramid and now having to do lives because so many people have left money. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I'll talk about two things. So way to go, Gen Z, for seeing through this stuff and being vocal, and also growing up with the internet, social media, that you can see through this shit. Encyclopedia sales were a real thing. So my parents were silent generation. My dad passed away last year. But they were both silent generation. My dad was born in 1941 and my mom was born in 1944. She lived in a rural community in Ontario, and they would have a guy, like he would have, he dressed like really raggedy kind of thing. I mean, he's poor. You can imagine life on the road as a salesman. And he had like a wagon with a fucking horse. And he would just go from community to community and he would spread his wares out on the ground. He'd have a blanket and he'd have all kinds of trinkets. It could be like a measuring spoon, could be like a necklace. It could be all kinds of things. And he would just like go house to house like that. So that's like, my parents were raised that way, with that kind of like growing up with that as a norm. So encyclopedia sales, it's people would go door to door, like knock on your door. It's like, hi, would you like to buy this set of encyclopedias? Funkin' Wagnalls is amazing. It was a real thing. And we still have a set of encyclopedias too. I made a TikTok about it. Funk and Wagnalls is what our set was. I think that might be the gold standard in encyclopedias. Does anybody know this? Good. We've got all ages on here. This is fantastic. Jana says, yes, Avery, we had a set when I was growing up, but I don't know where my parents got them. Lisa says, as a boomer, I'm particularly disgusted by MLMs targeting retired people who are struggling to live on a fixed income. This is really important. There are people, retired boomers, that aren't familiar with different kinds of scams. And because of that, like the way that everybody grows up, generally is kind of different. Like you need to, but a lot of like myself, older generations, is like, you need to just figure this stuff out. You take responsibility, you get the work done. So there can be like a shame of talking about how you were scammed. And it could be like a phone scam. It could be like the Nigerian prince email scam. It could be something that's so obvious that you feel so stupid about that you don't even bring it up. You don't even talk about it with your friends, where it could have been avoided if those conversations had have happened. So I was taught by rank makers, by Ray, to go after people who had retired. He said that if he was going to start a multi-level marketing company, no, he didn't say he was going to start a multi-level marketing company. He said if he was in a multi-level marketing company now, he would be going after people who had retired, people like grandparents, because nobody is going after them. He would, and I did this. I remember I made a live video so it was always about offering value. So my thing was I did a chair aerobics, a live video to do some simple exercises for people doing chair aerobics, right? And I thought, and then I hope you enjoyed these tips. By the way, having nothing to do with this, if you want to, I use this. He did this in a training. Fuck, I'm just remembering this right now. It's so weird. This memory is triggering. If you want to, get those Christmas photos done for your family and to look really good for your young kids, for prosperity, for posterity, posterior, I can't even say that word. And you want your hair to look good, it hasn't looked good, send me a message and I'll give you like my 5 tips to have a better hair day, get for better pictures. That would be the lure. God, you're so right. Lisa, thank you so much for saying this. Avery Joe says, well, what do you know? You learn something new every day. Gwen says, encyclopedias, also known as the original Google, are still in libraries. Run the World says, surplus income and time. Avery Joe says, my dad is a boomer, but he would have been pissed if he knew I had joined an MLM. There's some people that know. I didn't know. My parents, My dad had like a brief dalliance with Amway, and my mom purchased Amway products. But I remember they were invited by a friend or a couple to go to, I think it was like Chateau Laurier. Is that in Ontario? That's where they were. And it was a pitch for Amway. And my mom felt so deceived and about it that she said, I'm not interested in this. But she would purchase, like growing up, we'd purchase Mary Kay makeup. We'd have occasionally, maybe like in my memory, it would be like maybe twice a year, there might be like a Mary Kay party. It was not like it is now where it's just in your face all the time. It was like once in a while. So there's no internet. If you're getting together with someone, it's like fun. Somebody knocks on your door, you're happy. Like you're not like diving and hiding, Mary Kay, what else was another? Avon was a big one too. It would be nice because you'd be given catalogs and you didn't have the internet. So you'd like get a catalog and be like, this is really cool. You'd like flip through it and see if you might want to buy something. It was like the Sears catalog. Honestly, it was like just something cool. So that's kind of like how I grew up. I didn't realize they were pyramid schemes. I didn't realize how predatory they were. I just thought it was a cool way to buy products. I lived with my head up my ass for most of my life. Run the World says it's just awful. Liv Panic says, I've been exposed to MLMs going back to the 1970s, but literally never understood the business model until I retired in 2020 and started binging this content. Thank you so much for saying that. That's really close to my mom's experience, because I was born in 1975. And it was when I decided to leave Mon8, they had, this is just last year, and I realized, oh my God, what have I been a part of? Mon8 had announced that they were going to launch in Australia, and I had a list of people to go. They were ready to buy Mon8 in Australia. I'm like, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be a founder, no problem. The problem is that I woke up by that point and I said to my mom, she says, did you contact all these people? I'm like, no, I didn't contact anybody in Australia. I can't do this anymore. And she didn't understand it. And then she came over to my house. I'd watched Lula Rich. I just started to unpack things. And I don't know what it's like for some people, but for me, it was important for me then to get all the hands on all the information I could, kind of like you're like binging this content. I started to binge the content, like podcasts, books. I needed to understand what was going on. And she either got to the second episode or the third episode. There's only 4 in Lula Rich. And she's like, oh, I see why you can't do it anymore. She got it. And as I've been, healing and speaking out, she gets it now too. Now she understands it, but it was just never taught. And it was kind of like just always going on. Well, you're just going to like buy a product here and there. I know it sounds really weird, but I think it's kind of like that. It's just the way we grew up. Now we can have these conversations. Now the education is out there. Avery Joe says, my mom was surrounded by MLM through our neighbors. Avery says, I used to have a shirt from LuLaRoe. Run the World says, I'd had no idea Tupperware or Avon were MLMs. My mom used to buy from the Avon lady every month, and Tupperware parties at the house were such fun. They were fun. It was a get together. It really was cool. Like you could get together and then buy stuff, and they were really good products. Jana says, my biggest fear is one of my kids getting sucked in. I've only now, within the past 2 years, started binging anti-MLM. Now I knew it was a scam, but like it wasn't everywhere when they were growing up. And so I'm scared that I sheltered them too much. It's so scary. I think having this content out there and linking them with cults and having like those red flag things to watch for cults, where deception, where you have to pay money to get in, where it's going to feel like you love this product or you love this product, service, or opportunity. You love it. And you're going to be like, I don't care if they say it's an MLM. I know my friend is in there. She's doing well, or he's doing well, or they're doing well. And so what if it's a big deal? If I think the more that we're all equipped with these red flags, like the deception, the pay to play, recruiting mandate, and the ability to have these honest conversations where you're going to be to know what to expect, I think it's going to diminish their chances of getting sucked in, because they're going to be able to identify what's going on. I don't know if you follow or if you're on Instagram, but that Robert Fitzpatrick has a podcast called Ponzinomics, and it's geared towards teaching kids about MLMs and pyramid schemes. And it's been hard for me. I can't listen. It's hard for me to take in the information. This is a really weird way to explain this, but as I've been healing, I want to know. I want to be an expert. I want to read his book again and get it all, so then I can do a video, or I could be talking with somebody, and it's not that I'm going to like show them up or like wow them with my knowledge, but I want to have that basis of like, no, this is wrong and this is why it's wrong and this is where it's from. But it's so much because I'm still unpacking my experience and healing that it's like I can't take it in. What I have been able to take in is really, really good. So that could be a resource for your kids. This is what I'm getting at anyway. That's a totally long way to do it anyway. Run the World says, I'm the same, Julie. Okay, so I'll get back onto this article. So it's talking about how the anti-MLM movement is ubiquitous across virtually every online platform. YouTube clearly has the greatest reach and engagement. I hope they continue to think this, because they have not taken in the TikTok factor. Please continue to think it's only on YouTube. This is another thing that they fail to realize, is that people get burned and they get hurt. They've lost tens of thousands of dollars or thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars. They start realizing they're not alone, because more and more people that have been burned are speaking out. Engagement and reach. I mean, you could look at it just as raw data. Like, okay, well, this person has 50,000 followers, and each view or each piece of content generally runs like 3.4 to 6.2K views. That's fine. However, if you're in like a network marketing coaching group like I was, and you've had an exodus of people that have left over the years, they've been kind of afraid to say anything. But then I post something on Facebook, and then you see top coaches that had been employed in inner circle coaching commenting, and also high profile members that were in inner circle coaching saying, yes, this was a scam. I can't believe this is still really hard for me to put this together. They're publicly commenting. That kind of fucking reach and engagement, you don't want to measure that. It has nothing to do with like just the numbers. It's all about who you know. Just like in the multi-level marketing industry, they will like offer a bridge contract to someone from one company to woo them over to another company. And then because it's influence, but don't think of that. We're anti-influencers, and it's clearly only YouTube has reach. Please continue to think that. Okay. This is interesting. The algorithms used by many of these platforms, Facebook especially, are designed to suggest new groups that may be of interest to a particular user based on pages that person has interacted with, groups their friends belong to, or other personal data that has been collected, such as gender, age, location, or pages recently visited. So when you're still friends with somebody in multi-level marketing, they can be offered like groups and pages to see that is anti-MLM. I know there's people that I'm not friends with that are deep in MLM, and I'm like, and then it's offers like, oh, did you want to friend this person? It's like a friend suggestion. I'm like, I wonder what they think when I must be coming up in their feed too. They're probably like, hell no. It's so weird though. Because I thought if I'm getting it, they've got to be getting it too, these suggestions. So thus, someone who has never viewed an anti-MLM message on their own page may be steered to one of these groups by the platform itself. Just by them being on social media, there's a better chance for them to be offered and to potentially consume anti-MLM content. It's so interesting. I think this is fascinating. Aquasa favorite. I don't know what's going on with my mouth today. I was saying that about bridge too. It was like bridge and aqua. Like, what is going on? Jana says, I've never heard of his podcast. Thank you, Julie. You're welcome. Waffles says, I was asked many, many times to join different MLMs because I was great at sales. I never did. Oh, thank goodness you didn't. Oh, that you dodged a bullet there. Or maybe you knew all this time, but man, good for you. I thought that was really neat about just by being on these platforms, they don't realize that. And there's no way that when you're in a multi-level marketing company, because you're just, you know what it's like. There's so much of your time is taken over by the training, by the activity, by your love for the product, by supporting your teammates. And you're like going to an event, talking about the new product, the training, like, oh, this skincare or this collagen or whatever. It's really, you feel so good that there's no way, like, even if they were to like read this, it wouldn't percolate me. Like, it wouldn't even pierce through. So, but it's just that exposure, constant exposure, you know. I was taught to drip on people, create a drip list. That was the phrase. Anybody that I would recruit or I wanted to recruit, I'd send them a message or I'd come across their profile, and I would just always, every day or every time they'd post, just leave a nice little comment on their Facebook. You know, it's like, oh, your hair looks really nice today. Or, oh, congratulations. It's all meant to recruit people. It's so gross. And it was called a drip list. People might think, how do you reconcile this behavior? How do you have a guilty conscience? It's like, because we don't have a guilty conscience, because it's coercion. We're so busy. These groups are commercial cults. So if you look at it, if you take away the MLM component and the buying the products and all this gross behavior, and you think of it as a religious cult, that might help bridge that understanding. We're in a cult. We don't see what we're doing. There is no need to reconcile or to fix a guilty conscience, because we don't have one. We think that we have limiting beliefs. We think that maybe that guilty conscience, that might be the feeling. But it doesn't, we're taught that it's our limiting beliefs. It's a scarcity mindset, that it's our comfort zones that we have to push out of. It's only when you see it that it's just like, what have I done? What have I been a part of? So I hope if you happen to come across this, and that is one of the things that you've struggled with, trying to understand why people within the multi-level marketing industry behave the way they do, that's why. Our minds are not fully our own. So YouTube, they call this in this article the epicenter of the anti-MLM movement. I think this is important information to share, because you can see that that's where their eyeballs are. That's where the leadership, that's where like the president of the Direct Selling Association, that's where like the companies, that's where they're turning their attention to, which is great, because they're missing everything else. As they would, because they have to. Because you can't, it says, so with over 2 billion users each month, YouTube is a critically important marketing tool for direct selling businesses and their distributors. And it also serves as a home base of sorts for the anti-MLM movement. Many of the group's negative long format videos consist of channel owners giving running commentary on team Zoom video calls hosted by top direct selling distributors. In many cases, the channel owner will curate the worst examples of unscrupulous sales and recruitment tactics in these group video meetings to convince their subscribers that direct selling is predatory. Well, David Bland, who wrote this article, let me enlighten you with this information. You don't need to curate the worst examples of unscrupulous behavior, because it's all over the network marketing industry. You can pick ones that are more shocking every once in a while, but all of them are horrible. It doesn't take much. You could look at any of the ones I did. They were horrible. It's all unscrupulous. It's all predatory. So it's not that channel owners are trying to work very hard to find these things. They're everywhere. And it's because direct selling is predatory. So the last sentence of this, where it says to convince their subscribers that direct selling is predatory, just remove the convince, and it's just like direct selling is predatory. You got that part of the sentence right. You don't need to convince it's right, because a lot of channel owners have been within the network marketing industry or the direct selling industry, which is not a direct selling industry. You don't even know the definition of direct selling, if that's what there's yet another example of flawed, not even logic. It's just more bullshit. Particularly damaging examples of these leaked meetings show seasoned distributors. And keep in mind, many people of these channel owners have been seasoned distributors. It's not just people that are adversarial, that just want to sell merch for clicks. Pressuring new members to utilize blatantly illegal tactics. You know who else uses blatantly illegal tactics? are the CEOs and presidents of these companies. They'll say these lies right at Monations, for example. And then they'll deny that they said them. So it's not just these seasoned distributors. It's also the CEOs, the presidents. In one video viewed over 600,000 times, a distributor coach urges the new members on the video call to make product health claims to cancer patients. It's like they're just going to give examples. We've all seen examples of this. But it's so funny to me that they're feeling the need to spell this out as if it's like this unnatural thing that rarely happens. It happens in every call, every Zoom call, every Zoom call, because it's all based on a lie. Oh my gosh, Mantango. Ooh, it's somehow worse than pouring into it. I can't believe I didn't write that one down. Life Panic says, should I be insulted that all through these years I was never seriously pitched an opportunity? No, I think that you could be, I don't think you should be insulted. I think that's a good compliment, because it could be interpreted. Would be my interpretation. Would be either like, ooh, I'm too intimidated. Like I can't, I know they're going to say no. Although, that's how I would interpret it anyway. So I wouldn't consider it an insult. Jana says, I never have either. They can just read you. You're like, no. Pouring into, oh yeah, drip list. Exactly. It's so gross. And I remember, I'm like, okay, I took everything at face value. Coachable is another one that I have on this list. That's the best thing that you need to be. You need to be coachable, which just is accept everything and just do it. Don't question. You're given the tools, do it. You're paying for this advice. Why would you question it? It is disgusting. Jane is like, definitely worse, Mantango. Matango says there are literally uncut streams and there are hundreds of them. Exactly. Run the World says there's no time to sell. You're constantly in training Zooms and opportunity calls, and they all say the same thing. It's so weird because cult behavior is predictable. I was just watching it was an analysis Aaron Bees did with a paparazzi, a person doing the training. This could have been done with any network marketing company. It was all the same stuff. It's all mindset. It's all show up for your team. It's all the same shit. Every single one. You could take, and they're all like, you guys, literally, this company has changed my life. This is such a blessed opportunity. And then they throw in some, Jesus and Christianity and stuff, and it just manipulates more and more people. Waffles, I love your handle, by the way. Waffles. My first MLM experience was from my best friend and his dad. It was called Jewel Way. Huh. I wonder, how long did if you want to answer this, you don't need to. Thank you for sharing this anyway. How long did they stay in that Jewel Way? Matango says, I'm very late. Did you include link arms? Not yet. And I've gone totally off on a tangent, Matango. So you're gonna reel me back to reality here. I have lock arms, but link arms is another one that I used to. Waffles is like, I left after they asked for $1,800. Janie says, if you look at every MLM corp side, you will the worst snakes and criminals and criminal activity. Waffles like maybe a year max. Oh. And Lift Panic says, I love link arms. Link arms and run. That's what we were taught. Link arms and run. Okay, so I'll fast forward this. I'll fast forward this and then I'll get back to these, because Matango is like reeling me back into what the title of this video, which is about, which I don't want to be deceptive. So they talk about anti-influencers gain status. That's what they call people. If you aren't for the multi-level marketing industry, you're an anti-influencer. This is so funny. So they talk about on YouTube, you're getting credibility of the content provider leads to high visibility. Some people get verified. So, okay. So this is what I wanted to, I've got this. I'm going to make a video about this at some point. The video that I kept saying that I wasn't going to talk about today, and now I'm doing it. Social selling news. So social selling news, way to go. Special shout out to you from the anti-influencer, anti-MLM movement, who is so grassroots and uncoordinated and without leadership. This is a special shout out just for you. Social selling news conducted an analysis of 2 private Facebook groups with subscriber counts of 2,500 and 9,100 respectively. After joining the anti-MLM groups and observing several weeks of activity, it became clear that these communities are fiercely moderated. Any positive reference of direct selling companies or their products, even within the greater context of a complaint about that particularly company, is purged. And that's a lie. Social selling news, there's another problematic feature of the multi-level marketing industry, is that you thought it was had integrity and it's ethical to join 2 private Facebook groups, anti-MLM private Facebook groups, to conduct research deceptively without letting anybody know, and then report your findings that it was just fiercely moderated. Any positive reference is purged. Where's your data? You can't show your data because you deceptively joined these private groups. I think that's the multi-level marketing industry. Even when you're like writing an article, this is what you have to resort to. You have to join. Can you imagine? This is what you have to resort to. This multi-billion dollar industry. These guys, I'm like, these people, private jets, all this stuff. They're so hard pressed that they've got to infiltrate 2 weenie Facebook groups, anti-MLM Facebook groups, to try to get their data. It's so pathetic. Oh my gosh. This is last year. I wonder what their feathers must be ruffled now. Here we are, rolling into 2023. Okay, so that's where I went off on this tangent, Matango. I'm going back to the MLM phrases now. Okay. Okay, waffles, Matango. I left after that's for $1,800. Okay, link arms, head down. Okay, don't worry. Matango says, don't worry about getting back on topic. This article is super interesting. Good. Run the World says, I thought you ignored the haters. Yeah. So crazy article. Social selling news. I thought that was, I thought it was striking how bold they were to show their deception and think that it's justified because they're being criticized. So they couldn't get any information in any other ethical way by interviewing past distributors, by any other means, except they had to deceptively, covertly join 2 private Facebook groups that are anti-MLM in order to observe. How creepy is that? Then they wonder why the network marketing industry has a bad name. Yet another example. Okay. So the last one was all in. Okay, the next one is telling it like it is, keeps it like it is. Matango, this is for you. I don't mean to be singling you out. This is just playfulness. Telling it like it is, keeps it like it is. This was taught in Rank Makers. So Ray would say this, telling it like it is, keeps it like it is. So this is meant to be like, my furnace cost $5,000 to replace, and I'm so stressed out. I don't have the money. I don't know where it's going to come from. Telling it like it is, keeps it like it is. That's meant to that's a thought-stopping cliche. So you're not allowed to look at reality. That if you're talking about what is actually happening in the present, in reality, that's going to somehow magically cement it in place. Nothing will ever change because you're like this powerful magician and a wizard. And as soon as you utter it out of your mouth, therefore it is like never going to change in life. He'd also say things like, the more you talk about things, so it's like telling it like it is, keeps it like it. If you're always saying something, there's something wrong, like say there's abuse going on, there's clear exploitive behavior going on. If you keep saying it, it's just going to perpetuate it. You need to change. It's not up to that system to change, that person to change, that family dynamic to change, the business to change. Don't talk about it. It's not going to change that way, which is like, it's so stupid. I mean, activism, advocacy. You know, I work with people that have developmental disabilities. It's like we advocate for the people that we work with. You know, telling it like it is, keeps it like it is. No, telling it like it is changes it. But they don't want that because that means you're thinking and you're going to be like advocating for yourself and pointing out things and critically thinking. Telling it like it is, keeps it like it is, kept me in place for 5 years. That's a doozy of one. Waffle says TikTok is loaded with marketing MLM videos. They pollute my feed. Oh, I know. I'm reporting them all the time. Report is scam, report is scam, report is scam. Run the World says, I've never heard that one. Shadow says, hey, everyone. You might not have heard it because it's from Rank Makers. So this is like another like sub cult of the cult of the cult. It's like an obscure one. But there's a lot of people that create a lot of content that were taught this. So you might see this now. This is another one that I was taught in Rank Makers. You might not have heard this one either. You'll never become that which you despise. Like, oh, you know, if you hear this, I don't know what it's like for you. For me, because I was in it, like, see, reading this out now and hearing it now, I'm like, how the fuck did I believe this? You know, like, what does it mean? But it doesn't have to mean anything. That's why they're thought stopping cliches. Their sole purpose is just to stop you from critically thinking and just get you to give more money to the network marketing coach, to the multi-level marketing industry, to your company, get a ticket to the event. That's all it's meant to do. So that's, I think, part of my bafflement and like, how, it doesn't make any sense. Why did I believe this? And I try to pick it apart, but it just needs to have a couple of things, like a concept that you can somehow make it make sense to you. And then you accept it. And then you just are coachable. I hope I explained that okay. That's what it feels like to me anyway. So this was used, you'll never become that which you despise, is like, I can't stand, because there's always something wrong with you. There's something wrong with your money mindset. I'm so angry that this person that is at the head of my company, that is my uplines, or somebody from this other company just came into Mon8 and they are at the top. They haven't had to work. I've been in this company 5 years. This person already has this downline. How is this possible? Well, it's because they were given a bridge contract and they've just recruited their entire fucking downline from their other company. But we don't talk about that. But if you point that out and they're like, you hate that, you despise that person's success, that means success is always going to elude you. You'll never become that which you despise. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? You're like, that's not true. So it's like, I despise like human traffickers. I'm not going to be, so like, okay, I'm not going to become a human trafficker. Does that need to have a sentence? Like, what the fuck? Why? You'll never, but it's meant when you use it, when it was used like on me and others, that this person is operating in an unethical way. They're a criminal. They're doing, they got there in a way that's not, that it's giving the illusion that everybody can achieve this. It's like, well, they're successful. And because you are critical of their success, or you're critical of the way I coach and teach, you're never going to be as successful as me because you despise me. It's just this, you know, it's almost like you spin the wheel on the bike and it's just, but you're just like, whoa. I believe this. Jana says, hey, Shadow. Live Panic says, I reported someone pushing their MLM on LinkedIn and was told that it was okay. That's disappointing. That happens to me on TikTok frequently. I'll take screenshots, send, because sometimes on TikTok, you're prompted to send 3 to 5 screenshots, I think. Sometimes you can just report it. You have to go under illegal activities and goods and then like frauds and scams, and then it's in there. But sometimes it asks you for screenshots. So then I'll like back out and I'll take screenshots and I'll write a little description as well. Like, this is the slide. This clearly talks that they're selling Modair or whatever. And then it'll come back. There's been no violation. There's been the odd time that they found it, their content in violation. It just sucks. Run Shadow says, oh, it's your mindset. Yeah. Run the World says they're like conundrums. A tango what? Yeah. Run the World says, Julie, they had no friends on Facebook when they started. Stop making excuses. Waffles says it's like an abusive relationship. It is. And that's when I went to see my psychologist. I was telling him the things that I was experiencing in Rank Makers as well as Mon8. They were like, this is an abusive relationship. These things are they're the same. He was floored at the use of like principles in social psychology used to manipulate people. Was floored, like how, like the unethical use of these things. It was incredibly validating to hear that. Waffle says, until you make the decision to leave like you did, just hope it gets better. Yep. Time and money freedom. That's another one. I'm sure you've heard that. It's also like residual income, passive income. The time and money freedom. You need to sacrifice your time and your money now and you need to invest in yourself. Spend money. It's not an expense, and it's an investment. And then one day you're going to have time and money freedom. And so what does that mean? What does time and money freedom mean? It means that wherever you're at right now, you're not enough, and that you shouldn't be happy, that you need to constantly be thinking about a future time, working towards a future goal where you're going to be achieving some amount of money. You don't know what that is, but along with that money, there's going to be all this time that opens up as well. It's vague, and it's vague on purpose, because you will never arrive there. It's already here. But if if we open our eyes and see it, we'd get out. And then, but that's time and money freedom is used so much. You're going to, that's when you see these like no shame sales game. Oh my fucking God. Where there's that, you see that on Instagram, those posts. It's so bad. Where it's like, we were taught this too in Rank Makers. It's like, if you don't have money, you're all the more reason why you need to give us money and invest in this business opportunity. I believe this stuff though. Time and money freedom. Okay. And the next one is invest in yourself. It's so funny. So I haven't put any kind of parameters on this chat, but sometimes a message will be flagged. So Shadow, your message was flagged for she's a turd. Immediately I showed it because it's a very good comment. Okay, Run the World says, I'm so pleased you got real support. Thank you. And it's important to share that with people, because I was pretty adamant that I was not going to need support. I'm fine. Gone through so much in my life. I'm not going to need help for this. And that was a big mistake. And it's important to reduce that stigma of seeking out professional help, because you've been in a cult. This is different. It's different from what I mean, not different scenario wise. I mean, different from the stories that in my life experiences where I had, been through all kinds of shit like we all do. I'm like, okay, it's going to be more of the same. This is unlike any of that, especially because in the multi-level marketing industry, most of it is done virtually. Like, it's weird. It's not like these traditional cults where you're in physical, like you're living together, or you're like around in the same area, or you're, it's most of it is virtual, but it is just as fucked up. And it's almost like more pervasive because you're always on your phone, and then you have all these friends. And so the algorithm is delivering you more and similar. You can't get away from it. It's like another level. So while it might not be like physical, but it's like this virtual, but it's with social media as well. It's really fucking weird. So, Shadow, you do not need to apologize at all. It's a great comment. No, not at all. Avery Joe says messages are usually flagged if YouTube thinks there is inappropriate content in them. And Avery Joe says no need to apologize. Shadow says, back in the day, I would have fell for that word salad. I fell for this for 5 years, Okay, so the next one is invest in yourself. Oh, this one is, and this is what I thought it was so powerful. It's like, you're going to learn a skill. You're going to learn how to improve your mindset. You're going to learn how to attract things to you. You're going to learn how to do this curiosity post, doing marketing, being more confident. How can you put a price tag on that? You don't know the dividends that's going to pay off in the future. That could land you, an interview with someone, or a job, or a contract work, or never mind your network marketing business, all because you invested the money and the time to improve on these things now. Like, that's how it's sold. I hope I'm doing it justice. So even if I had the wherewithal to write down expenses, which I didn't, and it's not even having the wherewithal, you're like actively encouraged not to, it wouldn't be classified as an expense. And on the one video I did, if you go on 100K Inner Circle website, it says it right out there. It says coaching is an investment in yourself. It's not an expense. Fucking bold-faced lie right there. It is an expense. All of these things are an expense. an investment. It's just whatever word salad, whatever word we can use to take away from the fact what it is. Just like it's direct selling. It's not direct selling. Social selling, social sharing, multi-level marketing. The real pyramid scheme is your job. Can you it's just like real estate. It's just like a franchise. No, it's not. It's just talk about what it is. Can't talk about what it is, because if you did, you'd realize it's a pyramid scheme. Invest in yourself is the other one. Avery Joe says, Janet, your comment was flagged. Jay says, YouTube thinks some of the stupidest things are inappropriate, like the word shit or the emoji eggplant. Neither are inappropriate. Exactly. Matango says they sure can put a price tag on that. Yeah, they can. They do put a price tag on that. And it's always very steep. And they will tell you stories of people that sold all their children's toys, old toys. They went on Facebook Marketplace and they made it happen. If you want it bad enough, you will find the way to make it happen. We were also given scripts to tell people how much do you need? If somebody says, I can't afford it, then we'd be told, just say, well, how much do you need? So it's like when somebody just doesn't want to say no, because a lot of people struggle with saying no because they don't want to be rude. So instead of saying no, they say, I can't afford it. And then, well, how much do you need? Well, if they only need $50, well, how could you earn that $50? Is there any money that you could borrow from your parents or take it out on your credit card? Or like, that's the shit they'll do. These coaching programs are particularly ruthless because they're trained. Like they take real like manipulative training and they just are on you. And especially you're already within multi-level marketing. So you're just like this prime, you're like a plump corn. They're just ready to pick the corn off the cob. It's corn. Right? Okay. Let's see. Janet Naughty Step. Jaina says, Avery Joe says, I'm not censoring anyone in this chat. Screw you two. I'm not censoring anybody either. It's full on. It's game on here. Run the World says, haha. Shadow says, yay, Avery. The Tango says, ends with 7. It always ends with 7. $1,997. $97. Jane says, thank you, Avery. YouTube and their shenanigans. Agree. Tish is on here. Colleen and her IG the other day, affiliate marketing is exactly the same. Oh my gosh. It's always something. It's just, you can see where the, what I noticed, there's a video, somebody did a video about Colleen on No Shame Sales Game, where she's with her dying dad in the hospital. And she chooses to do this training instead for like Rodan and Fields, because for 2 years she had it on her vision board. I'm like, if she ever wakes up, she is going to regret that if she ever wakes up. But it's really weird to see her escalation, like just briefly since I've even been aware of her. It's really shocking how she's escalating the same as Ray. There's this massive ego and and by I mean massive ego, there's like this real ego, like you can do no wrong, that you have all the answers. And then there's the real disparagement and contempt for anyone that's critical, and a complete shutdown of critical thinking. And to be appearing as really tough, peacocking all the time, and then it gets to that like divine, I have the answers. Like I think we're gonna see more and more of this shit happening. I think it's inevitable. I think like these people are going to get like this, I don't know. They think that they're touched by God or something. And then at the same time, because so many of us have been screwed and have friends, family involved in the network marketing industry that have been screwed, it's all going to tank. It'll be like one blazing ball of inferno, and it's going to be a sight to behold. Oh man, I hope it happens in 2023. Drop all the eggplants and middle fingers you can, YouTube, since you're the epicenter of the uncoordinated grassroots movement of the anti-influencer. Colleen needs to take a seat and actually think it through. Yeah. Jaina says, Tish, fancy meeting you here. And great YouTube creator here, Echo Tish, if you want to follow anti-MLM content and commentary. Corn, yes. Avery. Jana says, Merry Tishmas, everybody. I'm a ho ho ho. Shadow says, you charge it will you will make it back in a month. Fell for that too. I have MLM debt for years. Oh, Shadow. Oh, I'm so sorry that you've got that. That's what they say. And if you don't implement exactly the way they say, then well, that's the reason why you failed. Well, there was something wrong with your mindset. When you implemented everything that we taught you, it will be 100% success. Any failure is completely up to you. Therefore, if you haven't made it back in a month, that's your own fault. So a lot of people, we believe this. And so nobody wants to step up and say, this was wrong. I was scammed. This is a scam. But more people speak out, you realize, there is no shame to being scammed by this. Yeah, there might be shame, but you know what? It's wrong. And it shouldn't be allowed to continue. And I'm sorry that you're having to pay for that. And that's horrible. Tish says the coaching businesses know you don't need them to, so they have to try to swindle you constantly. It's always a constant swindle. I had heard with Rank Makers, the group I was a part of, that this is what's so weird. There's going to be a new, apparently anyway, and if not, this has been going on anyway. It was in there like in the 5 years, it would go on and on and on. They would do these stupid skits, like you are sending messages, cold messages to people, prospecting messages. Hey, Tish, I know we don't know each other, but I see that I see that you enjoy Christmas. Right? Would you like me to share with you how I help other people that enjoy Christmas make some money? If not, no big deal. Sending out all these fucking messages, right? And then you follow up with them. So they do these skits in Rank Makers saying, well, if you keep following up with someone, they're going to have to go in the witness protection program. And you know what? If you follow our scripts and the prospecting that we do, you're not going to be that person that is chasing these people down. These fuckers teach that, though. That's what I think it's so ironic. The contradictions are there in the beginning. So, for example, within Rank Makers, it's heavily fucking populated by people in Modere, and all the people in there, they're fucking recruiting. So the people, like the employees, and that they're Modere. It all shouldn't be happening, but it all is. And so that we're taught, you'd send out these messages to people, and then we were taught to do a 4-day follow-up. You're taught to do a 30-day follow-up. You're taught to do a 60-day follow-up. You're taught to do a 90-day follow-up. And on top of that, Ray would say you follow up until they die. And then, so they make fun of this going on, yet that's what he teaches. And then they're selling you a course on how to prospect properly, which ironically is doing the exact same things that they're making fun of. It would be funny. It's also depressing. I don't even know. It's like you have to laugh, but you have to cry. It's so fucking horrible. There needs to be a new word. Maybe there's like a German word to describe that. There's so many of those interesting words that they just describe those weird feelings. That's what it feels like. Matango says, I think they are really shooting themselves in the foot by comparing it to affiliate marketing. Agree. It's a bit similar, but so much better in every aspect. Tish says, Isabella Lanter is a great creator, and I've really helped me to deprogram. Run the World says, Shadow, I'm so sad for you. They just aren't accountable for all the lives they screw up. Avery Joe says, it's either coaching coaches to be coaches or prophecy. Exactly. Jana says, I'm sorry, Shadow. Avery Joe is like Tish's channel. Thank you for, and if you are a creator on here, you'd like to share your YouTube channel or whatever, please feel free to do that. Waffles says, it's funny how the person trying to recruit you will build you up by saying how well you will do. Yes. They'll say it's so easy. You were made for this. We're taught that just to use these scripts. Avery Joe says, you're welcome. Shadow says, I never felt comfortable sending those messages. I cringed every time. And Monica, hello, Monica. It sounds very exhausting. Yes. And what Shadow says, I never felt comfortable sending those messages. I cringed every time. I believe this is because what we know what we're doing is gross and it's wrong and it's intrusive, because so many of us feel that. But we're taught that it's our comfort zone, that those people aren't paying our bills, that you need to do uncomfortable things. I remember in Rank Makers, Ray would say, I never wanted to prospect either, but I did it anyway. And you'd quote, like, feel the fear and do it anyway, which weird, like it's a book. that somebody else wrote. Big surprise. But I always thought that was like his quote. And also in there in Rank Makers, he would always say, you always give credit to people for the content they create. If you're going to cite a source, I always do that. I always make sure, you're going to notice on every live video I do, I always give credit to people where I learn this information. And I saw when I left, I was like, all these examples, never mind my own personal experience, but I'm like, that was never yours. Like you actually just plagiarized that too. It was like everything was plagiarized. But that's what he'd say. He would say, I didn't want to do it, but I did it anyway. You have to just do these things that you don't want to do in order to get where you want to go. It's another thought-stopping cliche. Because you can make it sound, you can make it make sense. Like a good example is making changes to your lifestyle. Like say you want to like go to the gym, or you want to start running, you want to start training for a marathon. And there's like a day where it just really sucks. You're just like, I do not want to go for a run. And it doesn't mean that you need to do the exact same like workout. You could alter it, go for a 20-minute jog instead of like your long run or whatever. But you're like, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. So you can make it make sense, but then it's ignoring like that cringe. Like we feel like, so for example, Shadow, I'm not going to speak. I am speaking for you, but you can please correct me. But this is what I felt. I felt horrible. I felt so bad. I felt like this knot. I'm like, I didn't want to do it. But then I did it so much that I like overrode my own instincts and my own feeling. And I began to enjoy it. And I remember writing in Rank Makers, I'd be like, it was so awesome. I used to hate prospecting and now I actually enjoy it. That's the worst part because you start losing yourself. Create this other, what I've learned, and if I hope I'm using it correctly, is this cult identity. And it wasn't me. It's like, you're still there, but it's like this, I'm like, fuck, I never liked it. But then I did 200 a day, built up to that. I'm around all these other people in like a DMO, daily method of operation Zoom call where we're jacking ourselves up like this. Tony Robbins, like, not even joking, 50 of us on a Zoom call going up and down like this. We're like, all right, everyone, let's prospect. I'm like doing all this activity. And I'm like, I actually really like this. How screwed up is that? Healing from this now? Mindy says, who is that in the mirror? Jess says, I found it. And Jana says, hey, Jess. Okay, next one here. Okay, so we did invest in yourself. One is Matango brought it up, was link arms. I wrote lock arms, and it goes arm in arm with run with me, link arms and lock arms. It's so weird that across companies, everybody uses this. And it doesn't make sense. Like if you were to even just get a visualization, it's like you couldn't lock arms or link arms with someone and then run with them. It would be like that that three-legged race, in the burlap bag, you strap a rubber band or tie something around your ankle. You're both in a burlap bag and you're like hopping or whatever that thing. We used to do it when we were kids. But lock arms, or link arms. It's like that illusion of being together. You're a part of something. You're not alone. We're even in this, you and me together. And there's like that physical thing as well, like touching. There's an intimacy implied with that. And that makes you feel like part of a community, and that you are not just, you might feel alone, like you got to push through these hard things. You need to invest in yourself. You need to work in your mindset, but you're not doing it alone. You're together with something. And there's that implication of that. There's the language, the physical, like the touching, it's implied that you're there. So it gives that thing in your head that I'm safe. It's like I'm being held by this community, That's how I interpret this shit now. Now I'm like, there's a reason why they say these things. So that's what I think. I don't know if you have a different thought, please share if you feel comfortable to do so. Jess says, hey, Lovey. Jess, I decided to come. LOL. Matango says, I have never heard it outside MLMs. Monica says, I hated when they say pour into you, cringe. It is really bad. Matango was the one that said that. I didn't even have it on here. I can't believe it. I should write it under here so I don't forget, because it's so nasty. Oh, another one is impact. Impact and show up powerfully. Because I'm going to have to make more content on this. So the next one, like pour into. it's really gross. It's almost like you're an empty vessel and you have to be empty and you need to be poured into. And they'll use all kinds of different metaphors, scenarios, examples of you need to empty out what you already have in order to be able to receive it, which is ditch your critical thinking, anything else that you think you might know, which it has merit. If you think you already know something, then how are you going to take in any more information? You need to be open. It's such a mind fuck. So, but pouring into it's like other people know more than you and they're going to give. And thank goodness that they are such a servant leader. They say that they're serving you by pouring into you, but it's all like this way of like, I'm so much better than you, you little peon. I have so much to give. I'm going to brag about how I'm pouring into you. And then you can post how you've been poured into. It's fucking culty. That poured into is gross. I agree. Jana says, happy you're here to Jess. Jess is aw. Jess is feeling the love. And Matango says to Monica, love on you. Oh, yeah. Jana says, OMG, Monica, I didn't think there was anything worse than pour into. I say pour into, and Julie says something worse. The impact. Oh, we were so pour into your team, poured into us. It is. And Monica says it's cringe. Matango says can't pour from an empty cup. Oh yeah, that one's a good one too. They'll say that you need to fill yourself up. But what do you fill yourself up with? Not with self-care, not with anything that would that's something that you like, something that could be it could be content creation. It could be just doing nothing at all. And just literally doing nothing at all and just sitting there, not meditating, just doing nothing, just relaxing, what the word relaxing used to be like. That can't fill you up. What fills you up must be activity, and it must be related to your business or your personal development, which is reading a book, which is 10 minutes of a personal development book each day. It's always got to be activity geared towards something, or thinking of the next content that you can make. Never just like, no rest. Jana says, I can't repeat what Julie said earlier because it was so much worse. Jana's like, she said drip list. I think rank makers, it's like a whole other, oh man, it was normal. And I didn't even realize how gross it sounded until I started speaking out. And I heard myself, I'm like, it was a drip list. I'm like, that sounds really gross. And I wonder how many other things it's still happening where I say it and I'm like, that's really fucked up. Right? It's so gross. Oh, Shadow's laughing there. Avery Joe says chicken list. Oh, this is so good. Chicken list is another one. Okay, I'm going to do the impact. Everybody's heard about this impact. It's about impacting the world. That you can only impact the world if you make a lot of money, and like obscene amounts of money. And well, you be allowed to use the word obscene, not even as a description, because that would mean you have a scarcity mindset and also a poor money mindset. You're blocking the flow to abundance by using such a word. Don't be so careless with that word usage, Julie. Shame on you. You need to purchase my next money mindset abundance course. The only way you can impact the world is by having a lot of money and donating it at these events where you can write $25,000 to a charity. That's the only way. You can impact people. I mean, sure, you can volunteer and you can, for food banks, you could like make up some food bank care packages for people this year, but that's not impacting as many people as you could if you joined a network marketing business and recruited them to your business opportunity and you made 500,000 100-aires, not millionaires, 100-aires. It's such a shit show. Okay. Chicken list, Avery Joe. Okay. Chicken list is another one. Who is it that you would be so terrified to reach out to? And then you would write this down, or you make a list, or you just be asked to think of this. And then at some point you're going to be saying, okay, today's the day. This assignment today for you, this training is going to be to reach out to those one person on your chicken list. This is the worst thing. If you're watching this and you're starting to I don't know, if you're in a multi-level marketing company and you haven't done this yet, for the love of God, don't do it, because 5 years later, oh God, do I ever regret this? The people that were on my chicken list, I reached out to everybody, and it's so fucking embarrassing now. Can you imagine people that know it's a pyramid scheme that I'm friends with? That they're never going to need another fucking stream of income. They're fine. And I'm fucking reaching out to them with my MLM speak. I got all jacked up to like freaking send them this prospecting message. I don't even know how I'm friends with some of these people still. Thank God it's so humiliating. Like there's a reason why those people are on your chicken list. Leave them alone. Oh, okay. Shadow says, think of who you want on your dream team. Exactly. And it destroys relationships. The best friends that you have, your really closest friends, the people that you want to see succeed. This is how cults operate. And then you invite them, and maybe sometimes they join. And how is that going to work out? In the end, it doesn't work out. Oh, it's so bad. Run the World says, haha, dream team. This is all starting to give me the shivers now. I keep getting shivers too. And in not a good way. Run the World says, a no isn't really a no. It's a not now. They are always watching. Exactly. That's what I was taught. A no isn't a no. It's a not right now. And I didn't see anything wrong with that. I was 42 years old when I got in. And I thought that makes perfect sense, even with all my life experiences. And yet, even so, I thought I adopted that. I remember there was some network marketing coach, guru. I don't know who this guy was. This is another memory that's just unlocked. But he was big up there too. He's making a lot of money, or apparently anyway. And he sent me a cold message one day. And he said, like, what the fuck was that about? I didn't even know who this guy was. I had to like look him up. He's like, oh, hey, I'm in like network marketing, and every once in a while I go out there and I offer help to people. Ask me a question and I'll answer it or whatever. And I was like, oh, so I like looked him up first, and I was like, oh, he's some fucking coach dude, but he wasn't affiliated with Rank Makers at all. It was some other person. And I was like, I forget the question I asked, but I remember his answer was that always like everybody's going to sign up eventually, and always like he's like prospect up. There was a word for it. So basically, if you're a lowly house cleaner or a janitor, then prospect up. Like you're a fucking loser. You need to prospect somebody who is making more money than you. That's basically what it was. So it's like, it's always everything that is taught to you is always that you're less than, that you always need to be grateful. Even when you're like given advice, it's so fucking weird now piecing this together. I just remembered that one too. Run the World, just that one sentence just triggered this memory. This is like a therapy session. I hope it's helping you. Okay, Avery Joe says, I want to make an impact, but never in an MLM. Good. Well, you're Gen Z and you're smart. So good on your, and Gen Z is so powerful that it's even like getting through to the Direct Selling Association. They're afraid. They don't know what to do. I love it. 100 airs. Run the World says to Mentango, I spat my tea out. Shadow's like, go for the no. Oh, that's another Shadow. You've got some really good ones here. Shadow and Matango. Matango says, Ray is probably on everyone's chicken list. That's so awesome. Just curious if you'd be open to. That's hilarious. Okay, so Shadow says, go for the no. This was taught by Eric Worre. Maybe it was taught by somebody before that, but when I got onto the scene, that was who was really talking about go for no. And then Ray would also teach it. And Ray was also trained by Eric Worre. Eric Worre wrote a book called Go for No. And then, of course, Ray wrote a book, Go for No, for network marketers. They all fucking copy each other. And they all say the same shit, too. So bad. Ray wrote this book. It was so bad. It was called Vibrational Money Immersion or something. Have you heard that Napoleon Hill? Oh, fuck. What was that book? Napoleon Hill? I don't know, but I think I said this in another video, but he would just he copy and pasted like huge portions of this book and then would add a blurb, like his interpretation for network marketing. That's all it was. It was fucking horrible. I remember even at the time, I couldn't I'm like, this isn't good. I wish I had been like, why is it not good, Julie? Oh, shit. Okay, so go for no from Shadow, which is, I can't believe I forgot that one too. So thank you for bringing all of this up, because it's like, I can't believe how many there are, all these phrases. So the whole point of saying go for no, how I was taught, is that it seems counterintuitive. That why would you want that as your goal? You want to have a yes as a goal, so why not work directly towards that goal? However, if you go for a no, it's going to be building the muscle of being rejected, because when you're in sales, you're going to get a lot of rejection. So if you make the goal as getting rejected as the goal, you're going to become better at getting rejected, which means you're going to continue to take action, which is the whole point of being in a cult, which is to shut down critical thinking and continue to take action. Now, it can be, there's a little bit of merit in this, like there's with everything. I did find that when I would make it as, I would send out cold messages and I would get rejected, then I would feel horrible. But then when I did say, okay, well, I want to get some person to say no to me today, when I did, I noticed, I'm like, oh my God, that's so weird. Just that perspective shift really made a difference. So you get a little bit of like that kind of, you're like, this is truth. This worked for me. It makes you, it just fucks with your mind even more. And I'm just like, I'm so coachable. I'll do anything you say. Just tell me what to do next, and I'm going to do it. It didn't take much for me, and it doesn't take much for people when they're already in it. I hope that that's making sense. The tango is like, right? Yeah, I just love your comment. Oh shit. Shadow says, I went from a 19-year narcissistic relationship where he financially abused me to MLM because they promised me financial freedom, and I was so vulnerable then. Shadow, I am so sorry you went through that. And thank you for feeling safe enough for even, sharing your experience here, a brief, like even like a snapshot. Thank God you're out of that relationship. And that's MLMs too, that whole narcissistic, the behavior, those narcissistic traits are in the multi-level marketing industry. Man, they promised you financial freedom, and I was so vulnerable then. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Successes in the follow-up. Shadow's like, yeah, I thought it was Ray's. Tish says, okay, back to bed. Good night, Tish. Thank you for being here. And Monica says, let's all vibrate together. Exactly. Like the low vibration. I'm never going to let that die. That's one thing. It's like that go for no, where you just keep, I will never let that go. Being told that I vibrate at too low of a frequency. I'm going to ride that until the cows come home. Jana says, Eric Worre reminds me of the head dude in the House of Slytherin, or I can just see him having an eyes wide shut party. Jana says, good night, Tish. Yeah, I remember I got Eric Worre's book, Go for No, as a reward for doing a contest in my uplines group. There was to recruit people or something, or customers, sign up a VIP, whatever it was. I won this contest. And the only reason I won this contest was because I was one of the first people in my area to start selling Monate. So the market it was pretty much open. But as this reward, they send me this book. I read this book. I'm thinking it's the most amazing knowledge ever. It's so bad. I'm thinking like, oh, this is so powerful. Like, go for no. Like, I'm going to do this. And it did. Like, it's so weird how quickly that I just started to believe all this shit. And I look at it now and I'm like, it's so poorly written. It doesn't make any sense. It's so messed up. Okay, that was the go for no. Thank you for that suggestion. And okay, this next one is the word transformation. This is such a red flag. I know that there's life coaches that will use the word transform your life, transformation, but it is applicable. It's a huge red flag. Be very careful with anybody telling you that you can transform, or you have to transform. You have to become something other than what you are. And in order to do that, you have to give them money. There's the coaching industry. Claire had left this comment, my friend from Inner Circle Coaching and Rankmakers. She was like, if the coaching was so good, why do I continue to need purchasing more coaching. Who gets to decide on the end point of this supposed transformation? Like what are you transforming into? That you'd have less confidence? Like if you go to a therapist, they don't use this language. They're not saying, like, you go to a clinical psychologist, a therapist, none of them are saying that you're going to be undergoing this transformation. Selling it like this, there's a reason why, because it's fucking unethical. And it's about creating dependency. There is no end point. You know, true like coaching or therapy, it's not about creating dependency. It's about creating independency. So just be super careful about anybody that's using that word. I might change my mind at some point, but right now for me, I see that and I'm like, fucking run. See transformation. It's because you're not okay with who you are. You need to become something else. We become something else every day. We have been transformed from who we were yesterday. So that's a soapbox that I'm on right now. Run the World says, well said. Thank you, Run the World. This is like a negative, I guess it's a phrase. It's not one that's, well, it is. It's not as catchy as lock arms or whatever, but you'll hear this with people. And this does not have to be just with multi-level marketing. This can be like coaching. This can be any kind of group that is saying that it's supportive, empowering. They say, don't look at the negative reviews on the internet. There's negative reviews. People have said, is it a scam? Why do I have to pay? And they saw these negative reviews. They're diminishing these negative reviews and they're saying, don't look at them. It's not a big deal. They'll say it like you're in this, they're creating this bond with you. Like, well, you know what it's like. It's just those negative reviews on the internet, being dismissive of them. That's a red flag. Anybody that says that, they're in a fucking scam. Nobody that is in a group where there is like, I heard something negative on the internet, if they're feeling like they need to steer you away from that and they feel the need to justify as to why somebody might be saying that, they're threatened. Anything that, like fucking Stephen Hassan says, anything that is legitimate can bear scrutiny. Like, can you imagine recommending a restaurant to someone? They're like, I read a negative review about it. And you're like, oh yeah. Like, you don't get personally like affronted by it. Like, oh my, well, just don't ignore it because it's just a negative review on the internet. It's like people can have bad experiences with things and it's okay. But when you're in a high control group, multi-level marketing industry, coaching, network marketing, coaching industry, negative reviews are like, no, they can't exist. It's impossible. There's something wrong with those people. They're out to get us. They're disgruntled. They don't want to see people succeed. It's like it could be anything else other than the fact that it's a fucking scam, right? Shadow says, just pay me $9.99 and you too can transform your life. And Monica says, information control. Run the World says, don't forget the VIP package. Shadow, you deserve this. It's your time. Shadow says, oh, attraction marketing. Don't say the name of the company so they can't Google it. Yes. They call that Shadow, you've got some really good suggestions. You are in, you know your stuff. Attraction marketing and curiosity posts. That's how I was coached in Rank Makers. Would be, you would hold the, so say this is so stupid, by the way. Look at, I had to buy a charger and they didn't even sell this. Like, we've come full circle. It only has this and I needed a USB. So I had to buy this to stick in this. This is so stupid. But so say that's you can't see the light. I'm kind of washed out. Say the brand name. Let me find the brand name of like a Kleenex box. Scotty's. So instead of holding it like this, I would hold it like this or take a picture of it like this. You'd have to like, even like be creative with it. Like, oh, I'm a patriot. This toxic-free facial tissue is so amazing. Takes the boogers right out of my nose even better than the other ones, you know. We would call that attraction marketing or making a curiosity post. People would say, well, what is it? It's like forcing people to say, what is the brand? And we would say, I'll DM you the details because we don't want you to get information. Like Monica says, information control. You need to come through us to get information. But the way it's taught and the way we believe it is that there's all this negative stuff out there, inaccurate information. We're going to give you the correct information. If we were just to tell you what this is, you would just Google it. and you'd go to Amazon or eBay and you'd purchase it and you'd lose the sale, and you'd never know how many people that you lost just because you were stupid enough not to obscure the name. It's like number one thing of cults is deception. It's like, here we go. This is how you do attraction marketing and network marketing. Just deceive them and then get them to ask you what it's about. And then you send them a DM and you start having conversations in private. Oh, man. Run the World says, I never understood why you couldn't say the company you're supposed to be so proud to be a part of. That's why, because people, so the real reason why is that people will Google and they'll see it's a multi-level marketing company and they will come across negative reviews and they'll see like, this is a pyramid scheme. But what we're taught is that we're going to lose a sale. We've put all this effort into doing a post, into writing a post, into doing a live video. And people will just go onto the internet and they'll buy it off Amazon or eBay because it's easier to purchase that way instead of going through you. So you're going to lose a sale. So it's smart marketing for you not to say it. It's going to create curiosity. So people are going to comment on your post or your live video, which will bump it up in the algorithm. Each time somebody comments and they're like, other people are going to see somebody else has commented, maybe I might like to comment too. It kind of gives a little bit of social proof. If it's not people saying, is this an MLM scam thing? And yeah, that's why. And to us, it makes sense. And then I was even taught, like when I was part of Rank Makers, that if anybody says, why won't you just say the name of it? We were taught that thing about posture. Oh man, posture up. Like it is not the definition of posture. I say this every video. I got to stop because I want this thing out of my brain. But we were taught to react in a postured position, which would be, we were given a script and I used this once. It was be like, well, I could give you the name of the company, but then you'd Google it and then you'd find negative things on the internet. And that's why I want to give you the right information. And if you don't want that information, then that's fine. And you just like be kind of like real arrogant and snotty and just shut them down. That's how you're supposed to respond to anybody that actually challenges you as to asking a legitimate question as to why you can't say the name of the company and why are you being deceitful. It's because they're the ones that are the problem, not your behavior. And you can't get through to people when they're in it. Like we just can't see it, over time. Eventually we do. Run the World says, oh yeah. Okay. Avery Joe says, I'll send you a DM. Oof. Yeah. Lisa says, or you'd Google it and anti-MLM content would come up now. That's a really good point. Now it comes up. Now more and more anti-MLM content is coming up. Shadow says, don't forget a call to action. Oh, Shadow, So, and we were taught CTA, a call to action. That was like the shortened version of it. So on a live video, you might see this too. On TikTok, there's so many marketing gurus. They're just like, they've infested TikTok, just like multi-level marketing has infested TikTok. Always about the hook and your title and the call to action. So it's something that you want, the action that you want someone to take who's consumed your content. So say you're writing a post and this wouldn't be a curiosity post. A curiosity post, you just leave them hanging. You like have the picture of this. It's like, I love this facial tissue is amazing. You don't have a call to action. You just, the curiosity of what this is going to drive people so crazy. They're going to be like just asking what it is in the comments, right? Or they're going to ask for more information. Theoretically, this is what's supposed to happen. But in another post, this would be like drop a fire emoji if you want to learn how you can blow up your business in 2023. Or what is the name? My friend is going to be having a baby and wants to name it an old-fashioned name. What is your grandmother's name? Or my friend Jill is going to be giving away $500. Let me know. Drop your name or drop your favorite ice cream in the comments for a chance to win. Anything like that, that's a call to action. At the end of a video, I would always be offering a reason. This is what I was coached to do in every live video, which would be to give them more value. So it'd be like, if you want another 5 tips as to how you can create engagement on TikTok, especially going into 2023, send me a DM with the word TikTok in it and I'll get it right off to you. And then through having those conversations, then at some point I would try to see if you're open. It's so much work. There's the call to action. Monica says, but at the same time, if the person asks a legit question, there it's a possibility of being blocked by the Hun. Yes. And usually it would be instant. I would do that too. I would like delete the comment and block them. I would feel that it was like a personal attack. That's what it feels like. It's the strangest thing. It's so weird to be on the other side of this. I remember as I was waking up looking at, do you know Ben Palmer trolls on TikTok? He's on, I think he's on YouTube too. And he'll send these funny emails to different companies. He sent one to Monet saying he had, I think he photoshopped Stuart with like no hair. And then Monet gets like their panties in a knot and they're like, oh, we're going to sue you or take this post down by this day. And he responds back to be like, I contact my lawyers, Jones, and Jones or whatever. It's really funny anyway. But I remember seeing that. This was as I was waking up. And I remember like reading the comments and like seeing him. I'm like, how can people be so cruel and hateful? That's exactly, and I see it now and I think it's hilarious. It is the weirdest thing. So somebody could ask a legitimate question and they did. They'd be like, what is the name of the product? Why can't you do it? And I would feel like this is a personal attack. I'm in danger. I am in, that's what it feels like. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to explain is that not only do we feel like it's hate, but we're scared. We feel like it's almost like our lives are threatened. Putting this into words now, that's how it feels. That's why you'd be blocked and your comment would be gone. And we're like, avoid them at all costs. It doesn't make sense, but it makes sense when you're in a cult because that's how we behave. This is so interesting. Like just speaking about this, because a lot of these things I'm like working through right now. Drop a 1 in the chat. That's it too on those live videos. If you're tuning in live, write live. If you're tuning in on replay, type replay. It's like, I don't know why they still do this. It's so dumb. Avery Joe says CTA is good for real marketing. In MLM, it's kind of manipulative. Are them just trying to get engagement on their posts? Exactly. There's always truth. There's kernels of truth in a lot of these concepts. Shadow says drop the word info in the comments. Lift panics like W. Matango says drop a number 2. Drop a number 2. You drop a number 2 in the toilet. Okay. Shadow says drop 1 if you're live or 2 if you're catching the replay. Lift panics says, what is your grandmother's name? Shadow says that was hilarious. Avery Joe says I found Ben Palmer. Oh, good. Yeah, Ben Palmer's awesome. There you go, Matango. Drop a poop emoji if you're thinking this. Okay. So the negative reviews one, I've had that happen recently. Someone was telling me about a group they were a part of, and they made a point to say how there was negative reviews on it. And then they started to go on this. I'm like, I know this script. I'm like, and there's nothing I can do because they're deep within it. But I'm just like, no, thanks. I'm not interested. That is like, you cannot bullshit a bullshitter now. Another one is that we're not a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are illegal. I said this all the time. Another one, a variation of this is we're not a pyramid scheme because my company has products. Pyramid schemes don't have products. That was a big one. I like that there's like poop emojis. Shadow says, will that get flagged too? I hope not. With the Nexium cult, Sarah Edmondson, Nippy Ames, India Oxenberg. I don't know if you've seen The Vow or the other documentary, which is really, really good too, Seduced, Inside the Nexium Cult. That's about India's story. And it's really, oh man, it's, I was watching it on Vumu. So it's kind of like YouTube. Maybe you know what that is. I did not know what that is. And you can watch it for free. And they have cult experts, Rick Ross, Stephen Hassan, Yanya Lalich. And then there's a number of other ones that I don't remember their names. I was like, it was such a huge other parts of the story. I had no idea. It was bad enough. Just like I read Sarah Edmondson's book, Scarred. I read, or on the Audible, another book. It was called Don't Call It a Cult by a journalist. Watch The Vow, listen to podcasts. I was like, there's so many similarities between that and what I experienced within Rank Makers. But then I just watched, and it's four parts of this documentary called Seduced, and I had no idea there was all these other components of this story, of this group, of this MLM. I hope more people watch that because that was really powerful. Anyway, they were taught to say we're not an MLM because MLMs are unethical, or MLMs are unethical. We are not an MLM. And that's just like a thought-stopping cliche. Avery Joe says the vow is intense. Yes. Shadow says, I watched some of it, but it got too hard for me. It is really intense. I understand. I had to stop as I was watching it as well. And because it's this narcissistic topics of narcissism and abuse, it's brutal. Monica says Nexium is so scary. That guy was out of his mind crazy. Yeah. Keith Raniere. And that's why I'm terrified of what's going on in Rank Makers, because I see the same thing, and I'm not alone. The similarities, like the whole focus on Ayn Rand, he'd always talk about this book, Ayn Rand. Like, it's so many things. We're watching it and we're like, not that too. Like, it's really scary. So, okay, I'm going to so the whole point of tying in and bringing this in, I hope, I'm sorry if this is very sensitive to you. I'm going to not be super descriptive about things. I don't want to, I know you've been through a lot, people watching this, so I don't want to, freak you out. But I think it's the whole reason I brought this up was because of them saying we're not an MLM because MLMs are unethical. And what we were taught is like, we're not a pyramid scheme because pyramid schemes are illegal, or we're not a pyramid scheme because pyramid schemes don't have products. And so that's the tie-in to where this went. But I think it's important to help understand how quickly people get sucked into this. This is a spoiler alert for Seduced inside the Nexium cult. It happens at the end. So don't watch this now. I'll be over in like about a minute. I'll just say this story. So this is a spoiler alert. There's a part near the end where they have a number of the survivors go give a talk to some law students, because these people are because they're talking about legislating about coercive control. And so they're like, these are going to be the future lawmakers. So they're sharing their experience. So the one woman, the one individual is at the front of the room, and this is the first speaker. And like, she stands up and she goes like this. And this is what they did in Nexium anyway. And she's like looking around at people, and then she stops and she goes like this. And then like very immediately, all these people like joined in. And she said, and you wonder why? Like, you wonder how easy it is to get like sucked into a group like this. And she was like, that's how easy it is. I thought that was really powerful, because the vow did a pretty good job of showing how like all the good, how it's easy to get sucked in. But I really like that demonstration where it was like so instant when somebody's doing something physical like that and you join in just to be like, well, they're being nice. Well, these are survivors that are here giving us a talk. Well, how bad can it be? All right from the beginning, you're just like, that's how easy it is. And I thought if more content is created in that way to show how easy it is, like, you could be like, I wasn't vulnerable, but you were vulnerable because you didn't think to even question, why would I just all of a sudden do that? Like, it's that easy. If more content is created, in my mind, showing how easy it is to just go along with what everybody else is doing, because what's the big deal? How bad can it be? I think it would help really bridge that understanding of like, how can people behave like this? Because you just behave like that. Think of like being in 5 years later, that kind of thing. Anyway, Shadow is like, yes, he branded them. Yeah. Charlie Hobo says, I had no idea that Nexium was an MLM. And it was a multi-level marketing company. Yeah, I had left. I think that's important, that it needs to be discussed more, because if you watch like The Vow and you watched Seduced, you could watch it and not realize that it was a multi-level marketing company, and it was a multi-level marketing company. And I think that's a big piece that is, I have no idea why, the way, like, everybody involved, it's amazing. It's so well done. I don't know why that the producers or whoever decided to tell the story didn't focus at all on the fact that it was a multi-level marketing company, because a lot of these experiences, not like the level of abuse and that is replicated in every multi-level marketing company, but a lot are. We've been watching it and we're like, I had that experience too. This was said to me. It's like the same language, these same excuses, these same thought-stopping cliches. This is this, and this is throughout the multi-level marketing industry. This is not a one-off, you know. Not everybody is behaving like Keith and doing all these things. But all the other things, it's the same, you know. So I think it'd be really powerful to have, why do we not know this? You know, anyway. Okay. Matango says, what was the product? It was personal development, which is why it's really close to like what Rank Makers is, selling courses. It was a 5-day, they talk about it being like a 5-day intensive where you'd attend these conferences for 5 days. And then there'd be, at the end of it, then you'd be offered like a 16-day. And it would be like, I think it'd be like $3,000 or something for a 5-day. That was the product. And Shadow says, wasn't it self-help or something like that? Yes. Matango says, so it could be anything really. Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's so weird. It's such a heavy topic. Okay. Okay. So yeah, we're not a pyramid scheme. Pyramid schemes are unethical, or pyramid schemes are illegal, or pyramid schemes don't have products. So those are all thought-stopping cliches. And I know the one that I used myself was that pyramid schemes don't have products. And that's not true. Pyramid schemes do have products. Robert Fitzpatrick was saying every MLM that was prosecuted has sold product. In the United States, has sold products. Advocare, over 25 years, was shut down as an illegal pyramid scheme. They sold products. Products are irrelevant because the products are the people. But when I was in it, I thought, that makes sense. Monade is selling shampoo, and it was just selling shampoo at the time. And I'm like, well, it's clearly a pyramid scheme if you don't sell products. But it's not. You can sell products because it's based on recruitment. If your business requires you to recruit other people, to grow your business, to get the big money, to get to the top, if you're recruiting, you're in a pyramid scheme. It's not direct selling. So those were the ones that I wrote down. I know it kind of skittered off into heavy topic about the vow and Nexium, but I just finished watching the Seduced one, and it was really good. It was really, really intense, though. It's only 4 episodes, but it was so well done, and good on everybody who got out, who has had the courage to speak up. Not just the courage, because it's not just about courage, but man, I don't even have the words, but I was so glad there's that, those documentaries are out there to help other people heal. Somebody had left a comment on one of my other videos that said they had never been in a multi-level marketing company, but they were in a cult. And it was from watching anti-MLM content that helped them get cognitive dissonance and to start to wake up and to leave. So it's so important to have these stories out there, and you don't know what piece of content is going to really help you understand your experience or maybe help you get out. That's why I wanted to bring it up, is because it really helped. That second one, it really was powerful, but it's pretty intense. Monica says, what never made sense to me was if you recruit your customers, who is left to sell the product to? Exactly. It's another one of those contradictions. How I rationalized it, and how a lot of us did, would be like, well, you can go to the grocery store or the convenience store or the gas station and everybody sells Pepsi. They're not worried about Pepsi. Everybody's going to keep buying Pepsi or Coke. Could be like saying, this doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's how I would say that to myself. And I thought, okay, that totally makes sense. There are like, how many people in this world? Everybody needs to get on this product. So it doesn't matter how many people I recruit, because there's enough for everyone, because it goes back to the mindset and having abundance. There's enough for everybody to win. Everybody can win. There's enough pieces of the pie. If you were to actually just focus on the reality, is that if you recruit your customers, who is left to sell the product to? There is nobody left to sell the product to. That's why you have to work so hard on like fucking with your mind. So you can't even answer that like simple question. Good for you for not getting sucked in. I wish me, I know Stevie's like, money is just like Pepsi, $80 Pepsi. Exactly. It shows the level of where my mind was at. It doesn't make any sense. There's no, it's like all these other, like these thought stopping cliches. They don't make sense, but I just made them made sense. And it even affected customers. You know, some customers got out, like some market partners get out. But this affects people that are not even taking all these courses and attending events, VIP customers, and even retail customers. They buy into the hype. They believe it too. You know, it's so messed up. So that's it. That's what I got. Thank you so much. This was a long video. Holy smokes, 225. Thank you so much for being on here, and thank you so much for feeling comfortable sharing, you know, little bits of your experience and shadow. Good for you for getting out, and thank you for sharing a bit of your experience. This was kind of intense. I don't think there's a way to like talk about multi-level marketing stuff without it getting intense. But Lift Panic says, thank you, Julie. We'll rewatch for the parts I missed. Thank you for being on here. And you got in pretty early, so there won't be too much for you to watch anyway. And Nicole from Breaking Even Communication says, thanks for holding space for people. Julie, you're welcome. Thank you to you watching this for holding space for me to even be on here and help drive this conversation. You added a lot of red flag phrases that I just forgot about anyway, and they're really good ones too, like the pour into. That's a good one. Avery Joe says, have a good rest of your day, Julie. And you too. Thank you for being on here. Lift Panic says, thank you, commenters. And Matango says, thanks for the stream. Lisa says, thanks, Julie. Love your content. Thank you very much for being on here. And I'll see you again at some point. Stevie says, bleh, please, no one ever pour into me. I think that sums this live stream up perfectly. Yeah, high five for that. All right. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.